Part 220. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 2192. There is no need to go to the company anymore. Zhang Xiangbei, apart from sending Zhang Xiangzi to kindergarten and picking her up home, spends the rest of the time sleeping in his room with his head covered. Even for lunch, it was Grandma and Grandma who called me repeatedly before getting up and coming over to eat. In the meantime, only the seniors came, and Zhang Xiangbei went out once, but he didn't go far, to the Zhenshui tea house by the Meisi River, where Xiaofang rented the private dining room for a long time. The tea house in my office. The two of them were sitting in the private room of the Zhenshui tea house drinking tea. The focus of the conversation was that Zhang Xiangbei was very concerned about the acquisition of Zai Xianshui by a senior, the composition and source of his funds, and the senior's views on the future. Research and judgment on the development direction of Zai Xian Delivery and the arrangement of existing personnel of Zai Xian Delivery. The senior assured Zhang Xiangbei that he would not form a new team. The existing management team was running well. In the field of fresh food delivery, there was no one in China more experienced than the Zai Xian Delivery team. Why should I change? Aren't you asking for trouble and suffering for yourself? I'm not good at business management. The senior also sincerely hopes that Zhang Xiangbei can continue to stay in Zaixianshui after their acquisition. I have confidence in you, senior, and Zhang Xiangbei said, you can see things that others can't see and have good intuition, which is rare. Zhang Xiangbei declined on the spot. It was impossible for him to see the Zaixianshu he had established with his own hands. After it had changed owners, he still stayed there every day. It was like giving away his child and still returning it. Be like his nanny. The senior smiled and said, I understand. The main reason is that you invest too much and are too focused on love. A man who is too focused on love can't stand even one more look at his woman, let alone seeing someone ravaging her at close range. Zhang Xiangbei laughed and said, fresh food from home. In the words of the two Yale boys, one moment they were children, and the next moment they became lovers. The senior came from Hong Kong and then went to Shanghai. Zhang Xiangbei drove him to the high-speed rail station. When leaving, the senior said to Zhang Xiangbei, I won't be so naive. I am definitely not the only one who is talking to you about the acquisition of Zai. Regarding the fresh delivery matter, no matter what the final result is, I hope you can call me and tell me, okay? Zhang Xiangbei nodded and said, definitely. Sun Xiangyang and Zhou Ruyi would come to Zhang Xiangbei every night and ask him to go to the nightclub and have supper together, but Zhang Xiangbei did not go. Everyone in the company knew that Zai Xianshui was ready to be sold, except Wu Huan. There are only two of them, they are shareholders, Xiaofang can't not tell them. The two of them knew that Zhang Xiangbei looked indifferent on the surface, but he must be feeling very uncomfortable in his heart. They wanted to drag Zhang Xiangbei to have a drink to relieve his boredom, but Zhang Xiangbei refused to go, and they were at their wits' end. The two of them seemed to have a lot of trouble. I don't know what to say. Even Zhou Ruyi, a very articulate guy, was at a loss for words at this time. Zhang Xiangbei didn't know what to say, and he didn't have the energy to say it. For the first time, he felt that the need to speak was a very torturous and exhausting thing. He felt that his whole being was solid and he couldn't find an outlet to vent his anger. Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang finally dragged Zhang Xiangbei from the room to the living room downstairs. They did not continue to fall asleep. The three of them sat on the sofa with drooped faces. No one said anything. They stared at the TV that was turned on. But in fact no one was paying attention, they were all distracted and thinking. The two of them sat with Zhang Xiangbei for several hours, then finally left. Zhou Ruyi and Zhang Xiangbei said, if this continues like this, my throat will become a stone and it will become useless. Zhang Xiangbei couldn't help but laugh. Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang saw Zhang Xiangbei smiling, and they laughed too. But the next day, two people came again, and the three of them were still sitting there in silence. In the past few days, what Sun Xiangyang said to Zhang Xiangbei over and over again was, "No matter what decision you make, we will support you." Every time, Zhou Ruyi would keep nodding at the side. The ones who feel most distressed are Zhang Xiangbei's grandmother and grandmother. They see Zhang Xiangbei feeling depressed every day and have no appetite for food. They feel that others are losing weight every day. If this continues, will people still get sick? Taking advantage of Zhang Xiangbei's absence, Zhang Chen's mother asked Zhang Chen and Xiaofang what happened. Bai Bei doesn't go to work anymore and sleeps at home every day. He used to be a somewhat happy person, but now he has a dark face all day long. If he and Zixi weren't joking, I would have thought he couldn't even smile. Laughed. Zhang Chen and Xiaofang looked at each other, but neither said a word. What on earth is going on? Can any of you tell me? Zhang Chen's mother looked at Zhang Chen and Xiaofang, her expression became ugly. Zhang Chen and Xiaofang still looked at each other. They didn't know how to explain it to her. They were even more afraid that after she knew the whole story, she would keep going to Zhang Xiangbei and tell her that they knew that Zhang Xiangbei was the last person they wanted to talk about right now. Talk about fresh delivery at home. Zhang Chen said, "It's okay. Zhang Xiangbei is such an old man. What are you worried about? He will be fine after a while. If anything happens to him, I will settle the score with you." Zhang Chen's mother glared at them. Xiaofang and Zhang Chen's mother said, "Mom, no matter what happens, you have to believe in us. Everything we do is for the best of Bai Bei. For Bai Bei's safety, we are more worried about Bai Bei than ourselves. Don't worry, everything will be resolved satisfactorily in the end, and Bai Bei will be fine." Hearing what Xiaofang said, Zhang Chen's mother's face looked better. Zhang Xiangbei sleeps with his head covered in his room every day. Not only do his grandmother and grandma come over to call him during lunch, they also come in almost every half an hour to see how Zhang Xiangbei is doing. Asked him if he wanted to eat anything. Grandma would reach out and touch his forehead every time to see if he had a fever. Zhang Xiangbei felt depressed and couldn't get into trouble. In the following days, he simply sent Zhang Xiangzi off without even returning home. He went directly to the pillow tea house, asked for a private room, and slept on the sofa in the private room, or I was in a daze and didn't even go home for lunch, but ate their fast food in the tea house. Malin would still send reports to Zhang Xiangbei every day. Wu Huan knew that Zhang Xiangbei did not want to be disturbed by others at this time. She did not call or send Zhang Xiangbei a WeChat message. Instead, every night, she would report the day's situation to Zhang Xiangbei. Write it as an email and send it to Zhang Xiangbei's mailbox. But Zhang Xiangbei had already removed himself from the Zaixian Shui website. For several days in a row, he didn't even visit the Zaixian Shui website, nor did he read the reports or Wu Huan's emails. When he went to the tea house every day, he didn't even bring his laptop. If he didn't need to scan the QR code to pay the bill, he would even leave his mobile phone at home. Someone knocked on the door of the box. Zhang Xiangbei said, "Come in." The door opened, and it was Gu Gong standing at the door. Gu Gong was holding several vest bags in his hand. Zhang Xiangbei knew what was in them without asking. Gu Gong walked in and put down the vest bags on the coffee table. He glanced around the box and asked, "Why, are you creating a prison here?" "How did you know I was here?" Zhang Xiangbei asked. "I went to your house to find you." "Your grandma and grandma told me," Gu Gong said with a smile. "They also entrusted me to enlighten you." "I said you are very smart and don't need to enlighten you. As long as you drink enough, they will just urge me to come over and have a drink with you as soon as possible, haha." Zhang Xiangbei was surprised. He said, "They don't know I'm here either." Gu Gong glanced at him and said, "Do you think they won't know if you don't tell them? Old ladies have sharp eyes and are born with the talent of being a spy. Have you forgotten the famous Aunt Chao Yang?" Zhang Xiangbei was dumbfounded. He understood that his grandma and grandma must have gone to their room and didn't see him. They specially guarded the parking lot when they saw him coming back. They didn't go home but came here. They followed him. No wonder they didn't ask him once where they had been or where they had lunch. They knew there was food in the tea house and they were not hungry. Sitting in the tea house was better than lying in bed all day. They felt relieved. Come on, have a drink, and try some of my new braised vegetables. Have a great time today, Gu Gong said to Zhang Xiangbei while taking out the wine and braised vegetables from his vest bag. He took out a 2-pound flat stainless steel wine bottle with a leather cover on the outside. He opened the lid and approached Zhang Xiangbei's face. Zhang Xiangbei felt a ferocious drink coming from him. Water spewed out of the spout, as if it had punched him hard. What is this? Zhang Xiangbei asked. It's good stuff. You'll know after you try it later, Gu Gong said. Zhang Xiangbei said, no, I can't drink. I have to drive later. Go and pick up Zhang Xiangzi, right, Gu Gong said, old lady Yizi, you don't need to pick up Zhang Xiangzi. They will pick you up and let you have a good drink. Seeing how worried you are, how can you relieve your worries? Du Kong is the only one. Haha, the next half I added the sentence, and the old lady asked you to drink and eat well. Looking at the food and wine on the table, Zhang Xiangbei couldn't help it. He couldn't seem to remember how long it had been since he drank to his heart's content. Gu Gong picked up the 2 teacups on the coffee table, filled up the wine, motioned to Zhang Xiangbei and said, come here, have a taste. I made this myself. It took a lot of effort to find the raw materials. Zhang Xiangbei raised his glass and took a sip. It felt like the wine was like a sharp blade, slitting his throat. Zhang Xiangbei shouted. I'll go, it tastes so bad. Wait a minute, Gu Gong raised his hands and closed his eyes slightly, as if counting the time silently. When he opened his eyes, he waved his hands downward and said, tell me how you feel now. Zhang Xiangbei thought for a moment and said, it feels like his throat has been scratched by a razor blade. That's right, have you shaved yourself cleanly? It seems like your throat has become thicker, asked the consultant. When he said this, Zhang Xiangbei really felt like his throat, which was originally clogged, was now completely cleared, and he felt indescribably relaxed. Come on, take a second sip. Gu Gong raised his cup and said to Zhang Xiangbei. Zhang Xiangbei clinked it with him and took a second sip. The second sip of wine went down. It was not as spicy as the previous one, but it felt better from the throat. Starting from the waist down, the whole body seems to be getting warm. Do you mean puree wine? Asked the consultant. Zhang Xiangbei nodded. Let me tell you, this is more powerful than grain wine. It has the effects of dispelling wind, activating blood circulation, and detoxifying. If you have rheumatism, drink a little of this every day and it will be good, Gu Gong said. Is this medicinal wine? Zhang Xiangbei was surprised. I can't drink it. Except for the spicy taste, it's like inferior liquor. It's no different from grain wine. It has no medicinal taste. Drink again and see if you still feel like inferior wine. In addition to giving you a headache, inferior wine will also give you this smooth feeling all over your body. I deliberately made the taste so spicy so that it will impress people. Profound, Gu Gong said. Okay, I'm really impressed. Don't be pretentious and tell me what kind of wine it is, Zhang Xiangbei said. Gu Gong laughed. This wine used to be a broom, but now it's a pearl. It was common when your father was a kid, and your grandfather must have drank it often, but now I can't find it. No one makes it and there's no place to buy it. Well, why, it used to be a stopgap measure for the poor, but now everyone feels that their lives are better off, and they don't care about it. As time goes by, they forget about it. But I don't know that this is actually a good thing. Stop it, don't get too excited. Last time it was lotus seed wine, what is it this time? Zhang Xiangbei said. Gu Gong laughed loudly. I am counting its origins in detail. If you don't listen to my explanation, you still want to interrupt me. Are you defeated? Flashback, okay. Let's talk about the key points first, and then tell them in detail, Zhang Xiangbei said, picking up the cup and taking another sip. Okay, this is Vajrathorn wine, Gu Gong said. Do you know what Vajrathorn is? Zhang Xiangbei shook his head. Alas, Gu Gong sighed and said, there's really nothing we can do against you city kids who don't know how to farm. Don't glare at me. You're pretty good. At least you can tell the difference between wheat and leeks. This diamond thorn is here. It's so common, you can see it everywhere on the roadside, beside streams, in ravines and bushes in the countryside. What does it look like? Zhang Xiangbei asked. The leaves are like camphor leaves? I mean the shape, but they are emerald green. When they grow taller, they become vines. They especially like to climb on pine trees. There are thorns on the branches. You told me it had thorns first. I didn't know it right away. There are only a few plants with thorns on their branches in the mountains. Of course I know what you are talking about, Zhang Xiangbei interrupted Gu Gong's words and cursed. Okay, my fault, Gu Gong said, this wine is made from the roots of diamond thorns. In the past, people were poor and could not bear to use grain to drink wine, so they used sweet potatoes. They could not even part with sweet potatoes, so they dug the diamond thorns. The rhizome of the adamantium thorn itself is a herbal medicine. You can't taste the medicinal taste of the wine brewed from its rhizomes, but it has the function of medicinal wine. Everyone's life has become better, and there is more food. No one uses it to drink wine because they think it tastes bad, Gu Gong said. In fact, I have forgotten that people nowadays chew slowly and eat carefully every day. The food made my mouth feel awkward and numb from eating, but I just needed this rough thing to stimulate my senses. This wine is not only strong when you drink it, but also has a lot of staying power. When I was drinking it, I deliberately make it really look like a diamond thorn, Zhang Xiangbei asked. That's right, that's how you'll enjoy it. Isn't it satisfying? Gu Gong raised his cup. If you're satisfied, just leave. Zhang Xiangbei raised his cup and clinked it with Gu Gong. They drank it all in one gulp, and Gu Gong then filled up 2 more cups. This diamond thorn is not found everywhere. It is very common. How do you say it is rare? Zhang Xiangbei asked. It's true that it's everywhere, but it requires people to dig it out. There's no place to buy it. I specially hired someone to dig it out and brought over 300 caddies. It cost more than buying 2,000 caddies of rice, Gu Gong said. Thank you, Brokeback Mountain, for the reward of 2 fishes. Thank you for your monthly votes. I don't see a future, I only remember my original intention, and I don't care about my future. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening, everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 2193. The door of the box was opened. Zhang Chen stood outside the door, looked at the 2 of them and said, I heard that Gu Gong was coming, so I knew there would be something good. He sniffed his nose and asked, what are you drinking? Gu Gong smiled and said, come on, come over and have a taste, Mr. Zhang. As Gu Gong said, he poured Zhang Chen a glass. Zhang Chen took a sip from the glass and almost burst into tears. It was not because he was spicy, but because he was stimulated. There was a surging sense of déjà vu. What kind of wine is this? Zhang Chen asked. Vajrathorn wine, Gu Gong said with a smile. You still have this wine now? Zhang Chen asked doubtfully, and then he immediately thought, did you brew it yourself? Gu Gong nodded. Awesome, Zhang Chen said. Of course Zhang Chen knew what King Kong thorn wine was. When he was a child, every household drank 0-copy white wine and rice wine, and could not afford bottled wine. In the canteen, Several wine jars were placed on the counter, with wine bottles. It was mentioned that they were being sold for sale. The liquor was either King Kong thorn liquor or sweet potato roast. Zhang Chen took the bottle and went to beat it for Lao Zhang. However, he was not old enough to drink liquor at that time. When he grew up to the age where he liked drinking, the Vajra thorn liquor had disappeared from the market. Zhang Chen was not interested in King Kong thorn wine. The impact of this wine on him was that he felt that the taste of this wine was very similar to the 1,000 cups less he drank with Lu Ligan in the theater troupe. But this wine is more potent than Qianbei Xiao, it is estimated to be over 60 degrees. The last time Zhang Chen drank 1,000 cups less was when he and Lu Ligan went to Shangruo, Jiangxi to find Lao Tan. They passed by the big camphor tree restaurant on the outskirts of Yongcheng and ate it. How many years have passed in a flash? Later, Zhang Chen searched for Qianbai Xiao on Dabao.com, JD.com, and Pinduoduo many times, but could not find it again. He wanted to drink it, not because 1,000 cups less tasted great, but because it contained memories and the marks of past years. Human taste buds are so nostalgic. Mr. Zhang, sit down and have a drink together, Gu Gong said. Zhang Chen picked up the stainless steel jug and shook it. There was about half a jug of wine in it. Zhang Chen said, "This is not enough to drink." Yes, there is an unopened jar in the car. I brought it to Mr. Zhang, Gu Gong said. Zhang Chen laughed and said, "Then I have to call another person over." As he spoke, he picked up his cell phone, called Lu Ligan, and said to him, "Come over to the private room of the Pillow Tea House for a drink." "Why did you go there to drink?" Lu Ligan asked doubtfully. "Don't be nagging, just come over if I ask you to." "There are good things," Zhang Chen said. Lu Ligan said oh and hung up the phone. 2 people turned into 4 people. There was still wine. Gu Gong looked at the coffee table and saw that there were not enough food to go with the wine. Besides, he also knew Lu Ligan's drinking capacity. It was impossible for these 4 people to drink together. "Stop." Gu Gong took out his cell phone and said to Zhang Chen, "I'll order some takeout, don't dislike it." No, Zhang Chen said, "This is not far from Tuxiang Garden, I'll let them deliver it." Zhang Chen picked up the phone as he spoke, called Tuxiang Jiayuan, ordered the food, and told them the address. The private rooms in this tea house will soon become the private rooms in the hotel. Gu Gong went to the car in the underground parking lot, carried a wine jar, and walked to the door of the Zhenshui tea house. Lu Ligan happened to be coming from home, saw him, chased him, and went upstairs with him. Lu Ligan sat down and Zhang Chen asked him to drink. After Lu Ligan took a sip, he frowned and Zhang Chen asked, "Look like?" "It looks like, it really does look like," Lu Ligan said, and both of them laughed. Gu Gong and Zhang Xiangbei didn't know what they were talking about. Zhang Chen and Gu Gong said, "The taste of this wine is very similar to the 1,000 cups less we used to drink when we were young, but it's stronger and more enjoyable." Zhang Chen told Gu Gong that at that time, they preferred to call it Qianbei Xiao instead of Qianbei Xiao because the wine was spicy to the throat and enjoyable to drink. "How cheap," Zhang Xiangbei muttered. Gu Gong suddenly realized, and he said, "It's possible, what you drink is probably the wine directly blended with alcohol. Small workshops often do this kind of thing, blending alcohol and essence, you can get such a taste, but the aftertaste is definitely different." Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan pursed their lips and thought about it. They felt that Gu Gong's words were right. The wine was spicy in the mouth but had a mellow aftertaste. The waiter who delivered food from Tuxiang Jiayuan arrived. 2 people came. One was holding a tray with a large casserole in both hands, and the other was carrying a delivery box made of Oxford cloth on his shoulder, which contained packages. "Good dish." The owner of Zhenshui Tea House came in with the 2 waiters. He saw someone being so exaggerated and ordering so many takeaways into the private room, so he came over to take a look and saw that it was Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen inside. Turned around and wanted to exit. Lu Ligan saw him and asked, "Why, it can't work." Okay, I'm here to see who wants to ruin my job. In my box, instead of ordering food from me, he wants to order takeout, the boss said. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan live nearby. When they have nothing to do, they often come here to drink tea, or when they want to talk to someone about something, they will also invite people here. They have long been friends with their boss. They can be arrogant here, and the boss can talk to them as he pleases. Zhang Chen said, "We didn't order takeout either. This is delivered from my own store. Do you have any objections?" The boss smiled and said, "No objection, just greedy. You are the boss, you have the final say. I'm so greedy that I'll die." Lu Ligan asked the boss to come over and have a drink together. The boss said that I smelled of alcohol, so how could I do business? You just have to drink and be happy. As he said this, he exited and closed the door behind them. The four of them were drinking and chatting. Naturally, the topic of conversation came to Zhang Xiangbei. Zhang Chen did not treat Gu Gong as an outsider. He knew that Gu Gong also had a sense of proportion and knew what to say to others without giving orders. You must not say it, and you didn't hide it at the moment and told Gu Gong the whole story. Gu Gong didn't see Zhang Xiangbei in the company these days. He saw Xiaofang sitting in Zhang Xiangbei's office. Xiaofang told him that Zhang Xiangbei was at home. Gu Gong asked if he was sick, and Xiaofang said no, although Gu Gong felt something was wrong and did not continue to ask any more questions. He knew that something must have happened to Zhang Xiangbei, so he simply ran over. Now, after listening to Zhang Chen's words, Gu Gong just understood what was going on. He sighed and said to Zhang Xiangbei, "Your father is right. You have violated the ban. Even now, in ancient times, this would have been a crime of killing a whole family and implicating 9 ethnic groups. You may know farmers well, but you don't understand politics at all. Fortunately, you stepped on the brakes in time. However, what we do in these places is very popular with farmers." Zhang Xiangbei is still unconvinced, he said. "What's the point of their welcome? They're saying hello to you today, but when you behead your head tomorrow, it's them who go to the execution ground and cheer loudly." Gu Gong said, "This so-called good thing is very false. It will only lift you up and make your feet leave the ground and become light. When you look down, you will feel that it feels so good to climb up and breathe out. Your eyes are full of passion, and you don't know that you are standing on a fire. You ignite their enthusiasm, and when you ignite the fire will burn you together." Zhang Chen vaguely remembered that Li Yong said something similar to him. When he was still Professor Zhang and liked to make high-spirited and impassioned speeches on the stage, he didn't know if it was because of Li Yong's warning that reminded him. So after listening to Mr. Gan talk about what Zhang Xiangbei was doing in Chongqing, he immediately felt the danger. Gu Gong quoted extensively and used examples one by one to explain to Zhang Xiangbei the dangers and absurdity of what he did. Zhang Xiangbei would not listen to Zhang Chen's words. Zhang Xiangbei was still a little unconvinced by Lu Ligan's words, but Zhang Xiangbei had always listened to Gu Gong's words. After hearing what Gu Gong said, he was convinced and felt what I did was probably a waste of time. During this meal, the wine was very stimulating and made people feel comfortable. The most important thing was that Zhang Xiangbei felt that his thoughts had been straightened out. The solid and breathless self could finally breathe a sigh of relief. "Okay, if the pot is smashed, then let's smash it. I will find another way out." This wine was brewed by Gu Gong himself. He knows the depth of the wine. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan, the wine they drank has almost caught up with the water Zhang Xiangbei drank. The two of them knew this wine after one glass of wine. The stamina is not small, so pay attention. Zhang Xiangbei was the only one. After he felt that the wine was not so spicy, the more he drank, the better it became. He asked people to toast to him cup after cup, but he mainly asked Lu Ligan and Gu Gong to clink glasses with Zhang Chen alone. He felt something was weird and couldn't do anything. Both Lu Ligan and Gu Gong had good drinking capacity. Zhang Xiangbei drank. Although he rarely met his opponents, he couldn't bear to drink like this. He seemed to have drunk a little too much. Zhang Chen wanted to stop him, but Lu Ligan said, "Let him drink, don't persuade him." "You'll get drunk like this," Zhang Chen said. "Let him get drunk. What are you afraid of when you get drunk? Whoever drinks has never been drunk. When you get drunk, you will know how deep you are," Lu Ligan said. "That's well said," Gu Gong shouted. Lu Ligan asked Zhang Xiangbei, "Bai Bei, have you ever been drunk?" Zhang Xiangbei shook his head. Lu Ligan said, "Okay, then you can drink freely." Zhang Xiangbei chuckled, raised his glass, and said, "Come, let's have a drink." Zhang Xiangbei really let go and drank. After drinking, it was impossible for him not to let go. This wine seemed to have a kind of magic, seducing people. He went deeper step by step, drinking one glass after another without stopping. Drink, keep drinking. When Zhang Xiangbei thought he was sober and could still drink, he was actually drunk. He vomited all over the floor, leaned to the side, and fell on the sofa. "Thank you, Brokeback Mountain, for the reward of 2 fishes. Thank you to the second uncle who loves to read saucy books, Rainman, on the road every day, Cowboy Grandfather, 4 + 1 = 5, Book Friend 854 974, Little Janitor, Evergreen Yan Dotty, Zipazai, Sand Mood, Eat monthly ticket from Fish Brother. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 2194. When Zhang Xiangbei woke up, he was in his room, lying on his bed. He vaguely saw a person sitting by the bed talking on the phone. His eyes widened instantly. It was none other than Xiang Nan. Zhang Xiangbei asked urgently, "How did you?" Xiang Nan turned to look at him and put a finger on his lips to signal him to be silent. Xiang Nan changed the phone from his right hand to his left hand, stretched out his right hand and took Zhang Xiangbei's hand. Zhang Xiangbei was lying there, watching her call. He could tell that Xiang Nan was probably talking to Ding Yusong. "We were talking on the phone about tonight's performance. Originally, Xiang Nan should be in Jiaozhang at this time. The Yang Chengwu troupe was touring there and should not appear here. After making the phone call, Xiangnan told Zhang Xiangbei, their performance has just ended." Zhang Xiangbei asked, "Why are you here? Tell me first, why do you drink so much wine?" Xiang Nan said. "There was no reason. I just drank at the pillow tea house in front of me with my father, Uncle Zanzi, and Gu Gong. The wine was too strong and I got drunk," Zhang Xiangbei said. "You have today too?" Xiang Nan asked. Zhang Xiangbei grinned, "Today." Xiangnan reached out and touched Zhang Xiangbei's face and asked, "Are you feeling uncomfortable?" "A bit," Zhang Xiangbei said, actually he had a splitting headache. "Can I get you a glass of water?" Zhang Xiangbei nodded. Xiang Nan got up, poured a glass of warm water for Zhang Xiangbei, came back, went into the bathroom, twisted a towel under the hot water, came back, wiped Zhang Xiangbei's face, went back to the bathroom, and twisted the towel again. He came back and folded the towel a few times and covered Zhang Xiangbei's forehead. Zhang Xiangbei felt that his headache had indeed been relieved a lot. Xiang Nan asked, "Is this more comfortable?" Zhang Xiangbei said and asked, "Why are you back?" Xiang Nan pretended to be angry and snorted, "You still ask me? I was about to ask you, why didn't you tell me that such a big thing happened?" If Zhou hadn't been holding it in her heart for a few days and couldn't hold it in anymore, "Give it to me," I called, but I didn't know yet, and said, "Why didn't you come find me if you weren't at work?" "Aren't you on tour overseas?" Zhang Xiangbei muttered. "Is Jiaozhang far away from here? Everyone in your group is here." "Ho ho, Zhang Xiangbei, when did you become afraid of people? Have you never followed him on tour before?" Xiangnan asked. "Who is that person who follows you even to the ravines?" Zhang Xiangbei was speechless, and then said, "Well, I feel embarrassed and embarrassed. I will be embarrassed to see you." "What do you mean, Zhang Xiangbei?" Xiangnan widened his eyes and asked, "Do you think that when you succeed, I will look up to you? When you encounter difficulties, I will despise you? You put me, who do you think he is?" "No, no," Zhang Xiangbei said anxiously. "What is that? Say." Zhang Xiangbei straightened up and hugged Xiangnan. Xiangnan was stunned for a moment, and then he also reached out and hugged Zhang Xiangbei. His hand rubbed his back. Zhang Xiangbei's body trembled slightly and whined. Started crying. "What's wrong, Zhang Xiangbei?" Xiangnan leaned close to Zhang Xiangbei's ear and asked quietly. Zhang Xiangbei shook his head and said, "I'm just afraid that I will be like this when I see you." Xiang Nan sighed. She kissed Zhang Xiangbei behind the ear, and Wen Yan said to him, "Zhang Xiangbei, do you still remember that when you first said that you were going to do a home delivery, I told you that if you failed, you would go home and I would support you and wait for you to be mentally rejuvenated? Okay, let's start from scratch." Zhang Xiangbei nodded. "In my eyes, you will always be you, no matter what, you will always be you, you know." Zhang Xiangbei nodded again. Xiangnan received a call from Zhou Ruyi and rushed back to Hangzhou for a day. Yin Tao, the B character, helped to support the performance. She still had to rush back to Jiaozhang at noon the next day to follow the troupe. The troupe finished its last performance in Jiaozhang today. "We have to transfer to Suzhou." Xiangnan was worried about Zhang Xiangbei and asked Zhang Xiangbei to go with her. Zhang Xiangbei said that I would also help arrange the funeral arrangements for Zaixianzhu. Teacher Ma would be back in the next 2 days. I met and talked with him. After that, just pass by. "Are you okay?" Xiang Nan asked. Zhang Xiangbei said, "It's okay, don't worry. Don't lie in bed every day, you know," Xiang Nan warned. Zhang Xiangbei smiled, "I have stopped lying down for a long time. I go to the Zhenshui tea house to drink tea every day. I am now a retired cotter and I am thinking about buying a radio to listen to." "Okay, veteran cotter, and Zhou Ruyi and Fatty are here to ask you to go out to play and have supper. You are not allowed to go, do you understand?" Xiang Nan said. "Okay, I'll keep an eye on these two brats." Xiang Nan chuckled, "But don't drink too much." "If I don't drink too much, I now know my depth," Zhang Xiangbei said. "Where did you learn these words?" Xiang Nan asked. "Uncle Zanzi," Zhang Xiangbei said. "He said that a person only knows how deep he is when he gets drunk once." "Humph, I knew it." Xiang Nan turned up his nose. "It is more than 200 kilometers from Hangzhou to Jiaozhang. There is no high-speed rail. The train can only go to Huanzhun and then transfer to the bus. It is very inconvenient. It is better to just take the bus in Hangzhou." Zhang Xiangbei sent Xiangnan to the east bus station, and the two of them said goodbye reluctantly. Zhang Xiangbei returned home, parked his car, and wanted to go to the Zhenshui tea house. He stopped halfway home, picked up his laptop, and then went to the Zhenshui tea house. Zhang Xiangbei walked into the tea house, and the waiter asked, "Is it the same place?" Zhang Xiangbei said, "Yes, I will go there myself." Zhang Xiangbei walked over and heard the waiter laughing behind him. Zhang Xiangbei was stunned for a moment, and then he remembered that he must have been very embarrassed here last night. The owner of the tea house came over and asked, "Mr. Zhang, are you sober?" "Wake up," Zhang Xiangbei said. He vaguely remembered that he vomited in the box yesterday and said to the boss, "Sorry, I rebelled here. It's okay, it's okay. It's just that the smell of alcohol is a bit strong. I opened the windows for ventilation all night, and it should be better now," the boss said. "If it's not, you can continue to reminisce about it." Zhang Xiangbei laughed. Zhang Xiangbei walked into the box where they drank last night. There was something in the box, and there was still the smell of Vajra spike. Zhang Xiangbei smiled bitterly and shook his head, thinking that he still didn't know his own depth. He couldn't remember how much he drank yesterday. Zhang Xiangbei sat down on the sofa, opened his laptop, and browsed the website of Zaixianshu first. Then he opened the report sent to him by Malin and the email written by Wu Huan to him. Zhang Xiangbei read it carefully. Got up. Zheng Huiyang called Zhang Xiangbei and told him that Lao Ma came back yesterday. "Bei, how about I arrange it here and you can meet in the afternoon?" Zhang Xiangbei said yes. "How about Lao Ma's office in our West factory?" Zheng Huiyang asked. Zhang Xiangbei still said yes. In the afternoon, Zhang Xiangbei arrived at the location given to him by Zheng Huiyang as promised. He drove all the way according to the map until he reached the downstairs of their building too. Zheng Huiyang was waiting for him at the gate and saw Zhang Xiangbei driving there. Zheng Huiyang waved, called the security guard on duty in the hall, and said to him, "Go and help Mr. Zhang park the car. Leave the car keys at the front desk." Zheng Huiyang led Zhang Xiangbei upstairs. Teacher Ma's office is large and simple in style. As soon as you walk in, the most eye-catching thing is the black wooden horse that is as big as a real horse in the middle of the office. Half of the office is decorated in European style. The desk is a long arc-shaped table. Teacher Ma sits in it like a castle owner guarding his castle. On the other side, there are two Chinese-style writing desks with pens, inks, paper and ink stones placed on them, as if they are ready to write a few strokes at any time. The carpet in the office is gray and the ceiling is milky white. One side of the office is covered with huge glass, and the outside of the glass faces the garden of their campus. When Teacher Ma saw Zhang Xiangbei coming in, he stood up and greeted him. The two shook hands, and Zhang Xiangbei said, "I'll take a look around first." Teacher Ma waved his hand and said, "You can do whatever you want." Zhang Xiangbei walked around the office. He saw that there were not only wooden horses, but also a piece of marble. In this way, Mr. Ma's name was put together. On the marble, two famous quotes of Mr. Ma's own were engraved. "Today is cruel, tomorrow will be even crueler, and the day after tomorrow will be beautiful. Many people will die tomorrow night and will not see the sun the day after tomorrow. Entrepreneurs must know how to use their left hand to warm their right hand." Zhang Xiangbei thought to himself, "Damn, I am the one who is going to die tomorrow night." In the office, there is also a utility rack that separates the office area from the negotiation rest area. The utility rack displays swords, cartoons of Mr. Ma, and photos of him with celebrities and dignitaries from around the world. This time, Zheng Huiyang did not leave with an excuse, leaving the two of them to interview alone. Instead, she walked to the negotiation area with them and sat down on the sofa. Zheng Huiyang spoke first. She did not shy away from the purchase of Zai Xianshui, but went straight to the point and asked directly. "Bei, regarding the acquisition of Zaixianshui, what is your psychological price point?" "I don't care about this matter," Zhang Xiangbei said with a smile. Zheng Huiyang and Teacher Ma were stunned for a moment, and then they understood that there were two experienced negotiators, Xiao Fang and Lu Yun, behind Zhang Xiangbei, and there was no need for him to intervene in the bargaining process. Teacher Ma looked at Zhang Xiangbei and said, "I understand, you are here to ask for my promise, right?" Zhang Xiangbei is right. "What do you want me to promise?" Teacher Ma asked. Zhang Xiangbei said, "Two things. One is the Suishui gang activity. I hope you can continue it." "This is no problem," Teacher Ma said cheerfully. Second, I know that you still retain the entire fresh food delivery team of Daily Fresh, just to prepare for taking over Zician Delivery one day. I hope that after the merger, the original team of Zician Delivery will don't lower their treatment. I can guarantee that they are a very dedicated group of people and deserve this. Teacher Ma waved his hand. Facts have proven that the team of Zician Shui is better than that of Daily Fresh. There is no reason for bad money to drive out good coins. Daily Fresh's team does still exist, but the number of people is very small. You can rest assured that they will not replace the Zician Shui team, they will only supplement the Zician Shui team, but one person's seat must be moved. Who? Zhang Xiangbei asked. You, Teacher Ma said. I hope you can come to the group and you can take on a heavier burden. Zhang Xiangbei shook his head and said, thank you, I'm not included in this, you don't need to think about it. Zhang Xiangbei was thinking, during the war, you couldn't defeat me. Now that you have recruited the team, you still want to capture me too? Think beautifully. Thank you, Win Sanliu, Nankiaimen 79, Lao Dibao Ei, On the Road to a Nation, Jinwu Lanji, Book Friends 201804291032524888 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening, everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 2195. After meeting with the senior and Teacher Ma separately, Zhang Xiangbei and Xiaofang said that there was no need to consider other people, just their two families. At this time, it is not yet time for him to finalize which of the two companies. The two are negotiating at the same time. There is competition. The purchase price can be raised, but there cannot be too many companies. If there are too many companies, the acquisition has not been completed, and the entire society it has already spread a lot. Besides, foreign investors don't need to think about it. There are countless domestic people who have the ability to acquire the big guys Aixi and Shui on one hand. Some of them say they intend to acquire it, but they don't have the ability themselves and just want to do something. After all, the domestic fresh food delivery market is a piece of meat that everyone is optimistic about, as a broker of overseas funds. Xiaofang said yes, you can make the final decision after the conditions are negotiated with them. Zhang Xiangbei nodded. Next, it was about Xiaofang and Lu Yun. Without him, Zhang Xiangbei would have nothing to do. Zhang Xiangbei put on his backpack, got on the high-speed train to Suzhou, and went to find Xiongnan. Zhang Xiangbei followed Xiongnan and his troop from Suzhou to Kunshan and Taikang, and from Taikang to Wuxi. While in Wuxi, Zhang Xiangbei received a call from Xiaofang, asking him to come back, and things were settled here. That's almost it. Zhang Xiangbei returned to Hangzhou, and Zhang Chen sent a driver from Half-Mutian to pick him up at the East Railway Station. Xiaofang and Lu Yun were waiting for him in Zhang Chen's office. When Zhang Xiangbei arrived, he saw that Lu Ligan and Tan Shahen were also here. They were selling such a big deal as home fresh delivery, so of course they wanted to take a look. Everyone sat down around the conference table. Xiaofang and Zhang Xiangbei said, the purchase price from Teacher Ma has been negotiated. They have given two prices, one is $32.5 billion, and the other, proposed by Teacher Ma, is $32.6 billion. Awesome, Bai Bei, you have made a lifetime of money, Lu Ligan said. Zhang Xiangbei smiled, non-committal. Why are there two prices? Tan Shahen asked curiously. Xiaofang smiled, looked at Zhang Xiangbei and said, the price mentioned by Teacher Ma includes you. He hopes you can join their Dobayo.com. A contract of selling one's body for $100 million. Haha, Malayao is really generous, Lu Ligan said. I won't go. Zhang Xiangbei shook his head and said, there is no way I will go to their place. Have you thought about it? Xiaofang asked. Zhang Xiangbei nodded, don't think about it. You don't even want to hear what kind of treatment they can provide you? Xiaofang asked next. I don't want to, Zhang Xiangbei said. Okay, then we will accept the previous price, Xiao Fang said. Also, the price from the seniors has also been negotiated. The purchase price of us $32.8 billion is acceptable to them. Xiao Fang looked at Zhang Xiangbei and said, you decide which company to sign with. Zhang Xiangbei looked at Lu Yun nodded. Xiao Fang said, Xiahua means the same thing. From a personal point of view, Zhang Xiangbei feels that he is more compatible with his seniors, and their bids are higher. In addition, there are also the grievances between Zaixian Delivery and Daily Fresh. Zhang Xiangbei himself is more inclined to be a senior. Zhang Xiangbei lowered his head, intertwined the fingers of his hands, clamped each other, and then pulled out on both sides. Everyone in the conference room was silent, everyone was waiting for him to make a decision. Zhang Xiangbei thought about it for more than 10 minutes. He relaxed his fingers and let go of each other. His hands separated. He raised his head and said to Xiao Fang, it's better to choose to pay for your treasure. Why? Zhang Chen asked. You have a good relationship with your seniors, but their bid is higher than Teacher Ma. For fresh delivery at home, Zhang Xiangbei said. Okay, Xiao Fang said, I'll explain it to the senior. No, I'll call him and tell him, Zhang Xiangbei said. I promised him. As Zhang Xiangbei spoke, he picked up his mobile phone, dialed his senior's number, and told him, thank you for your preference for home fresh delivery, but I think it is better to complete this transaction with Daibao. The senior on the other end of the phone was stunned for a moment and asked, why? Zhang Xiangbei was silent, not knowing what to say for a moment. The senior then asked, are they paying higher than us? No, it's not a matter of price, Zhang Xiangbei said. What's that for? The senior asked. Zaixian Shui, Zhang Xiangbei said, I think a company like Zaixian Shui would be better if only one person makes the decision. Senior, after all, there will be many people there, and they will all be involved. There are too many people making decisions, and it is difficult to implement many things. There was silence on the other end of the phone for a while, then the senior sighed and said, Zhang Xiangbei, I'm very disappointed, but from the perspective of a bystander, I think your judgment and decision are correct. Thank you, senior, Zhang Xiangbei said. The matter has been settled. Dabao.com will acquire 100% of the shares of Zaixian Shuang at a price of 32.5 billion, or almost 215 billion yuan. Next, it was the matter of Xiao Fang and Lu Yun again. Zhang Xiangbei was no longer involved. However, when the agreement was signed, Zhang Xiangbei attended the signing ceremony and signed the agreement. Although the signing ceremony was low-key and neither party made any public announcements, the largest acquisition in the domestic internet industry still spread like wildfire, and the news quickly occupied all media pages. Suddenly, there was an endless stream of people calling Zhang Xiangbei, sending him text messages and WeChat messages. Most of them were reporters he had dealt with before. Zhang Xiangbei simply turned off his phone, threw it at home, and went alone. Sitting blankly in the box of Zhenshui tea house. It has already been painful when it should be painful. After accepting this result long ago, I will not feel any pain. Although, as Lu Ligan said, this sale allowed him to earn all the money he should earn in his life, he was not excited at all. He just hoped that all this would pass quickly and everyone would rush him. Forget. I am already a past tense. Zhang Xiangbei murmured to himself, and seemed to be talking to other people. Xiang Yun returned to Yinchuan from Hangzhou. In accordance with Xiao Fang and Wu Huan's requirements, she began to adjust the village transformation company projects in Ningxia and Gansu within the specified time. Not only did Feng Shengquan and Li Shengfeng not understand, but Xiang Yun himself did not understand either. He wanted to ask Zhang Xiangbei, but it was difficult to ask. Xiao Fang had specifically explained that during this period, if they had any problems at work, they would just ask them every day. It was brought up at the morning meeting that if you have special needs, just go to her and woo on. Zhang Xiangbei is no longer involved in the management of the company, so you don't need to go to him. In Xiaofang, it was because she knew that Zhang Xiangbei must be in a bad mood during this period. If these people asked him about anything at work, not only would he not be able to answer, but he would also be troubled. She might as well just let her do it all. We couldn't contact him about work issues, and it was inconvenient for Xiang Yun to talk about other things. The most he could do was ask him if he was okay. Xiang Yun knew that even if Zhang Xiangbei was not good, he would definitely say yes. In fact, it is useless to ask. Xiang Yun always felt that Zhang Xiangbei was running away from something, but this was something she couldn't ask, so she remembered what Xiaofang said. Xiaofang said that she would definitely see Zhang Xiangbei again. So, okay. Xiang Yun didn't understand Xiaofang and Wu Huan's arrangement, but it had to be implemented. Fortunately, it was not difficult to implement. They were the only ones who were losing. What else could others say? For the township government, exercising voting rights on behalf of Zexi and Shui is tantamount to a concession of rights, allowing them to directly extend their hands into these companies. Why not do it? The most important thing is that what the village should do is whether it's road improvements, water supply improvements, toilet improvements, etc., Zaxian delivery has not stopped, but has just turned into free donations. Isn't that good? For those village directors and village party secretaries, it turns out that Zai Xianshui has a chairman stationed in the company. This chairman is of course the boss. If they have anything to do, they have to go through him, or at least discuss it with him. Now that he has withdrawn, he can have the final say on matters in the company. Isn't that good? For people like Li Shengfeng and others, the managers who were originally stationed in the village have now been withdrawn to the branch and can go to work in the city. For them, is that not a good thing? It looks good to other people, but Xiang Yun feels that only his company is like a lunatic, spending a lot of money and wasting a lot of energy. Fortunately, within the stipulated time, they managed to save all these companies. Adjustments have been made, relationships have been straightened out, and these companies have returned to normal. At this time, news had spread on the internet that Debo.com was going to acquire Zexi and Shui. When they first heard the news, the general managers of their branches thought it was a joke. How could it be possible? What a joke, Dabao.com acquired us? How long ago did we beat them to the ground? Do they have the ability? Xiao Wenwen said in their WeChat group, let's acquire their it's almost better than Daily Fresh. Daily Fresh? Does Daily Fresh still exist? I would have forgotten it if you didn't tell me, Lu Dihua said. A few days after the news came out, Xiaofang and Wu Huan held a meeting for them and officially announced that Debo.com would acquire 100% of the shares of Zexi and Shui. Xiaofang reassured them that after the acquisition, everyone's positions and benefits would be the same. It will not change and will improve. This is part of the agreement. The general manager of the head office is still Wu Huan. What you did before will be what you continue to do next. For you, from now on, you will just go from being a Zaixiangxian person to being a member of Dabao.com, which should be good, right? Dabao is also a very good company, and many people want to join. No, how about we deliver fresh food at home? Zhou Ruyi said that although she had known for a long time that Zai Xianshui was going to be sold and had to be sold. The sale was also to protect Zhang Xiangbei, but when the decision was actually announced, she still felt unbearable. Zhou Ruyi said, we at home delivery are the greatest company. Everyone was shocked when they heard the news. There was a deathly silence inside and outside the screen. Only Zhou Ruyi's voice echoed, hitting everyone's heart like a hammer. Yes, whoever wants to be the treasure digger, we just want to do it. Giving home fresh food to others. Each of them felt very depressed. Everyone was sitting there, feeling a little stupid. They had never had such a dull meeting before. It turned out that there was no time during the meeting that everyone was not overjoyed. After a long time, Xiang Evian asked, "We are all going to dig out treasures, where is Mr. Zhang?" Dabao.com tried to retain him and planned to promote him to senior vice president of the group, but Mr. Zhang personally did not want to stay. He had his own plans, Wu Huan said. "What the hell is this?" Xiao Wenwen cursed, then started sobbing softly, and the eyes of Xiang Yun and the others were also red. "Yes, what kind of thing is this? Everything seems to be fine. Why is it that things have suddenly changed? Did we not do enough?" Xiang Yun asked. "No," Xiao Fang said, "you are all excellent. No one, not even Dabao, has to admit that in the field of fresh food delivery, you are the best in the country and even in the world." A group of people. "Then why are you selling it?" Li Wei asked. "I can only tell you that this is the shareholders' decision," Xiao Fang said. "Every company is just like a person. When people grow up, they will experience different things at different age groups. The same goes for companies. Different periods require different paths, and it can be said that this is the path that Zaixian delivery must take. You shareholders, do you think our efficiency is not good enough? If so, we can reduce our income," Ding Mianli shouted, and others also responded. Xiao Fang quickly said, "Thank you, thank you. It's really not like this. I can only say that this is the best choice." "Is it the best choice for your shareholders?" Bao Tianbin, general manager of the Hainan branch, scolded. "Thank you Brokeback Mountain for the reward of 2 fishes. Thank you Hu Hu, Good 110123, Shadust Mood, Robin Granite, Lemon Stone Spring Hodgepodge, and Book Friend 20211001001619272 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 2196. This is a fact, although it is cruel, but everyone has to accept it. Xiang Evian and the others saw the news that other people were spreading the news about the purchase of Zaixianshuang by Daibao from the internet, and they were very excited to spread the news. In particular, many people were eager to calculate how much Zhang Xiangbei could get. Money, saying that he has become the second generation of rich people in the country who have truly made a fortune by working hard on their own without fighting for their father. No matter how lively others say it is, what Xiang Yun and the others feel is just a kind of sadness. After the agreement is signed, they will change from being a Zaixian delivery person to being a member of Dobao.com. Although Xiang Yun still serves as the general manager of her Zaixian delivery Ningxia and Gansu branches, in her heart but I feel empty. There were 3 people in total, one was Zhang Xiangbei, and the other was Xiao Wu. He went back to Half-Acre Field and was responsible for 2 places in Hangcheng and Yongcheng. Logistics base. Xiao Wu came back, which made the idiot feel relieved. He said, "Damn it, I'm so busy alone that I don't even have time to fart." "What if a beautiful woman is placed in front of you?" Lu Ligan asked. Microsoft, said the second guy. "There is another one who is leaving, Xiao Wenwen. She returned to Fanhua Network. She said that she still likes live broadcasting. She was bewitched by Zhang Xiangbei at the beginning and impulsively went to Beijing to become the general manager. Now even Zhang Xiangbei, of course she has to go back and continue her live broadcast. It was time to break up. Zhang Xiangbei took out 500 million yuan from the acquisition money he received, and asked Wu Huan to distribute 50% of it to the general manager level of the branch, and the remaining 100%. 50 of it will be distributed to other managers. Thank you all for your continuous efforts. Without you, Zaixian delivery would not have been able to go so far. 2 days before the agreement officially came into effect, Wu Huan notified the general managers of all branches across the country to come to Hangzhou. Zhang Xiangbei was going to hold a thank you dinner at the Tuxianjiayuan Hotel to formally say goodbye to everyone. After receiving the notice, Xiang Yun knew that this was what Xiao Fang said, you would still see Zhang Xiangbei, but he didn't expect that goodbye would be goodbye. Xiang Yun arrived at Xiaoshan Airport in Hangzhou. Xiao Wenwen came to pick her up at the airport. Xiang Yun saw her and said, "Why you?" "Why, it can't be me," Xiao Wenwen said, "I came back from Beijing yesterday. I knew you were coming today, so I came to pick you up. It turns out that in the company, the two of us and Zhou Ruyi are the most noisy. I'm leaving soon, are you lonely?" "Stop talking, I'm disgusting," Xiang Yun scolded, "you almost make me cry." Wenwen laughed, "What's there to cry about? I'm still in Hangzhou. Come and see me if you want. By the way, you'd better go to my live broadcast room and give me a reward directly." Xiang Yun looked at Wenwen and kept laughing. Wenwen asked, "Why are you laughing?" "I laughed that someone actually had the nerve to say there was nothing to cry about. By the way, I remember that in the meeting that day, there seemed to be one person who took the lead in crying. Do you still remember who that person was?" Wenwen's face turned red and she cursed, "Aren't you crying too? I cried when I saw you crying. Come on, you were the one who cried first, and you made us all cry," Xiang Yun said. "Okay, I made you cry. I have a lot of water, so that's it." As soon as Wenwen said the words, she was stunned for a moment, and then both of them laughed. "Shameless," Xiang Yun cursed. Tuxianjiayuan Hotel has a small banquet hall between the private room and the lobby with 6 dining tables. When Zhang Chen originally designed it, it was intended to be used for group worship, tailgates, and small meetings for the unit. Today, Zhang Xiangbei and the others had a thank you banquet with more than 50 people from all over the country. It was just right to hold it in the small banquet hall. The thank you banquet was scheduled to start at 6 o'clock in the evening, but the bosses from all over the country came here directly after getting off the plane. The earliest one was Zheng Mingshan from Kunming. He arrived at more than 2 o'clock, saying that he came here just to looking for someone to chat turned into waiting for someone to chat, but fortunately it didn't take long. After everyone got here, they couldn't bear to leave anymore. When they talked to each other, they all felt like they were leaving. Although most of them would still work together at Zai Xianshui, everyone felt that they wanted to say goodbye. Feel. The two people who were really about to leave, Xiao Wu and Wenwen, became the center of everyone's attention. They took pictures with them one after another. They took pictures in the private room and then went to the hotel yard to take pictures in front of the huge sand table model of Hangzhou. Several girls pulled Xiao Wenwen with tears in her eyes. They all cried and laughed together, laughed and cried again. De Wenwen arrived earlier than Xiao Wenwen. It was the first time for the two of them to meet each other today. The two Wenwen holding each other and crying. Hui Huan called Zhang Xiangbei and told him that your guests have already arrived. When Zhang Xiangbei heard this, he looked at his watch. It was not 5 o'clock yet, but he immediately went to the underground parking lot and prepared to drive there. As the car drove towards the entrance of the parking lot, Zhang Xiangbei thought about it and stepped back. On such an occasion today, he would definitely have to drink, and not less. How could he go by car? Zhang Xiangbei parked the car, picked up his mobile phone and called a Didi taxi, then walked out. When he walked to the ground, the car arrived just in time. Zhang Xiangbei walked into the box, and everyone in the box stood up. They saw that Zhang Xiangbei had lost weight and became darker. His whole person seemed to have shrunk, especially the confidence that once filled his face. The high-spirited demeanor was gone, and the whole person looked a little lonely and depressed. Everyone came over, the men shook hands with him one by one, and the women wanted to hug him. When Xiao Wenwen hugged him, she cursed. "Are you going to die? You are so cruel." Zhang Xiangbei could only laugh. Xiang Yun stood in front of him, but was too embarrassed to hug or shake hands. Instead, he looked at him and asked with a smile, "Okay. Well enough. What are your plans next?" Xiang Yun asked. "I haven't thought about it yet," Zhang Xiangbei said. "If you think about it, don't forget to tell me," Xiang Yun said. "You recruited me, don't forget to take me away." Zhang Xiangbei didn't know how to answer this, so he could only smile. Wu Huan and Gu Gong walked in from the door and were shocked to see so many people in the box. She stood there and counted them carefully. Although there was still more than half an hour before 6 o'clock, there were already people there. "All are here." Wu Huan and Zhang Xiangbei said, "Everyone is here, how about we start early?" Zhang Xiangbei said yes. Wu Huan asked the waiter to announce the dishes. She clapped her hands and everyone became quiet. Wu Huan said, "Shall we ask Mr. Zhang to speak to us first?" Everyone clapped. Zhang Xiangbei stood up and looked at everyone. He didn't know what to say and his mind went blank. He bent down and bowed to everyone and said, "I want to apologize to everyone first. I'm sorry. The battlefield is still there. You are all good. Everyone is still on the battlefield. But I, the commander, was the first to desert. I'm really sorry for everyone." After Zhang Xiangbei finished speaking, he bowed to everyone again. "No, Zhang Xiangbei, you are not allowed to talk about yourself like that." Zhou Ruyi shouted, "She knows things that others don't know. She knows that Zhang Xiangbei is not a deserter, and she knows the real reason for selling Zai Xiansu. She also knows that in agreeing to sell Zai Xiansu, who is Zhang Xiangbei better than anyone here? Everyone suffers more." Zhou Ruyi said, "Zhang Xiangbei, you are also good." Everyone applauded again. Zhang Xiangbei wanted to say something more, but he felt something was weighing him down and couldn't continue. He raised the wine glass in front of him and said, "I won't say anything else. I'll give you a toast. It's all without saying anything." After Zhang Xiangbei finished speaking, he raised his neck and drank the wine. Xiao Wenwen shouted, "Nothing can be said, Bai Bei, you are proud even though you are defeated." As soon as she finished speaking, De Wenwen shouted, "What nonsense are you talking about? Who said Mr. Zhang was defeated and where?" Others also accused Xiao Wenwen of talking nonsense. Xiao Wenwen said, "Okay, I made a mistake and I accept the punishment." "How to punish?" De Wenwen asked. "How do you want to punish me?" Xiao Wenwen asked. De Wenwen thought for a moment and shouted, "How about we punish her to carry Mr. Zhang on her back and walk around in a circle?" "Okay," everyone laughed and clapped. Xiao Wenwen said, "I just carry it on my back, but I want to open the live broadcast room for live broadcast." De Wenwen smiled and said, "Okay." Xiao Wenwen took out her mobile phone, and everyone else also took out their mobile phones and found Xiao Wenwen's live broadcast room on Fanhua network to see how she carried Zhang Xiangbei live. Xiao Wenwen clicked on Fanhua network's live broadcast app and entered her own live broadcast room. In the live broadcast room, the content she had already live broadcast was automatically replayed. There were many people watching, and Xiao Wenwen stepped in and talked with everyone. "Explain. Babes, I am now with Zhang Xiangbei, who you have been paying close attention to these days. Next, the babies who are still in the live broadcast room are blessed. You will see me carrying Zhang Xiangbei on my back soon." A large number of 666 poured out in the message area. Xiao Wenwen gave her mobile phone to Xiang Yun and said to her, "Just walk in front of me and point the camera at me." Xiang Yun's stomach almost hurt from laughing, so she said yes. The two people walked towards Zhang Xiangbei. Zhang Xiangbei saw that the situation was not good and was about to escape. Xiao Wu and Sun Xiangyang were already prepared. One of them grabbed him, and the two of them put him on Xiao Wenwen's back. Wenwen and Zhang Xiangbei said, "I'm live broadcasting, no trouble." After saying that, He picked up Zhang Xiangbei and started walking. Xiao Wu and Sun Xiangyang were supporting Zhang Xiangbei from behind, first to prevent him from escaping, but to help Wen Wen reduce the weight. Everyone in the box was laughing and shouting. Xiao Wen Wen started driving in circles with Zhang Xiangbei on her back. While driving, she was panting and talking nonsense to her fans. Everyone inside and outside the live broadcast room was laughing. Xiao Wen Wen talked and said, "Look, babies, this guy doesn't want us anymore. He left alone. I really want to carry him on my back like this, not letting him go, carrying and carrying." The laughing people in the box stopped laughing and stood looking at Xiao Wen Wen. The eyes of several women were already red. Xiao Wen Wen started crying as she spoke. "You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 2197. This thank you banquet lasted for a long time. The food started to be served at about 5 o'clock and it was not over until about 10 o'clock. All the other guests in the hotel had already left, so Hui Huan asked a supervisor, a chef, and 2 waiters to stay and serve them well. Give them whatever they want. No matter what time they arrive, the waiter is not allowed to rush them, Hui Huan told her supervisor. The supervisor smiled and said, "The little boss is here, who dares?" Hui Huan also smiled, "It's good to know." In the banquet hall, everyone laughed, and cried. They also asked Xiao Wen Wen to sing a Shaoxing opera for everyone. They were not allowed to leave Zaixianzhen without singing. Xiao Wen Wen sang the aria from Butterfly Lovers and sang it miserably. Chi Chi, who made herself and others cry, was also taking advantage of the scene to create feelings. Move a table to one side and make room for Xiao Wu to do somersaults. Xiao Wen Wen said, "Same thing, Mr. Wu is not allowed to leave the Zaixian delivery unless he does somersaults." Xiao Wu could only do somersaults, and everyone tried their best to do so. Cheer and applaud. Xiao Wu bowed to everyone, which could be regarded as Xiao Wu's curtain call at Zaixian sending. Everyone was tired from drinking and talking, and those who were too drunk had already collapsed one after another. Hui Huan arranged for the hotel driver and security to escort them to the hotel room. For those who stayed, everyone kept suggesting playing various games, and no one wanted to leave. Everyone knew in their hearts that if they broke up today, they would really be separated. Tomorrow, Zhang Xiangbei would no longer be their boss, and Xiao Wu and Xiao Wen Wen would no longer be their colleagues. Although time passed by minute by second, everyone wanted to keep today and not leave. But no matter how long the night is, there will be times when it ends, and no matter how many words are spoken, there will be times when there are interruptions. At about 12 o'clock in the evening, although everyone was still sitting there, their expressions were already slumped. They could no longer drink wine and played games. They stopped moving, and even their voices became hoarse. Everyone sat there with their heads lowered, as if waiting for the last moment to arrive. There really is no feast that lasts forever. I don't know who was the first to stand up, come over and hug Zhang Xiangbei, and say goodbye to him, "Boss, see you later." Then, everyone stood up, came over to hug Zhang Xiangbei, and then left. Everyone else left, and finally Zhou Ruyi, Sun Xiangyang, and Xiang Yun were still here. Zhang Xiangbei asked, "You guys aren't going back yet?" "I don't want to go back," Zhou Ruyi said. "Think about that time, when we first planned to do fresh food delivery at home, we discussed it in a tea house outside. At that time, to be honest, I just wanted to change my way of life. I didn't want to let I have green hair like those ancient coins, and I also want to make money, but now that I have made money, why am I not as happy as I imagined?" Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang each have 2% of the shares in Zaixian Shui. With this 2%, After the sale, each of them also received several billions. It can be said that they entered the rich world in one step. Procession of people. Are you happy, Zhang Xiangbei? Zhou Ruyi asked, and then immediately answered her own question. I know you are not happy either. You are different from us. You didn't want to make money from the beginning. Who said I don't want to make money? Zhang Xiangbei said with a smile. I also want to buy a house, get married, and support a family. I also want to make money, but I don't want to make it this way. Okay, I can't get involved in this topic, Xiang Yun said. You continue to be pretentious. The other three people all laughed. Zhou Ruyi said, there is no point in going back, let's go to the road and the West Lake, right? Before Zhang Xiangbei could say anything, Xiang Yun shouted, okay, okay. As a foreigner, I have never seen what the West Lake looks like at night. The four of them went downstairs and walked to the street. It was spring and it was also the most pleasant time of year in Hangzhou. The distance from Tuxianjiayuan Hotel to West Lake is not far. Just walk along Stadium Road, turn left at Huancheng West Road, and you can reach the West Lake. The streets of Hangzhou late at night were deserted, and not a single person could be seen. A few scattered cars passed by, and they were also very fast and hurried, as if they were running blindfolded in the dark night. Occasionally, one or two cars had their empty lights on. The taxi, which had its car lights on, slowed down as it approached them, but only for a moment did it realize that they had no intention of taking a taxi, so it immediately sped off. The four people were talking while walking. Their voices were amplified by the empty streets. It gave an unreal feeling, as if they were walking in a valley. The voices spread far away and carried echoes, especially to Evian. While giggling, the four people walked to the edge of the West Lake. The entire West Lake was dark. They were disappointed with Evian and said, why can't you see anything? What do you want to see? Zhou Ruyi asked. Xiang Yun himself didn't know what he wanted to see. He just felt that the dark water in front of him was too far away from his own phenomenon. It didn't even match the word West Lake at all. West Lake, no, there should be three pools reflecting the moon. Shouldn't it be the sound of paddles and the shadows of lights? How could it be so dark? The four people walked by the lake for a while and then stopped. The chairs by the lake were too short to seat four people, and the four of them didn't want to be separated. As a result, Xiang Yun and Zhou Ruyi sat down, while Zhang Xiangbei squatted aside. Fatty Sun couldn't squat down and stood there. Xiang Yun still asked Zhang Xiangbei, what are your plans next? I don't know, Zhang Xiangbei said. If you are going to do something, remember to take me with you, Xiang Yun said. And me, Zhou Ruyi said, fat man, what about you? Needless to say. Stop fussing, you will all be M5 and M6 from Teacher Ma. Do you know how long it will take for others to climb to this rank? Zhang Xiangbei said. Not rare, Xiang Yun replied. You are so rare, why don't you want a ready-made M8? Zhou Ruyi asked. I heard that there is an additional $100 million. Zhang Xiangbei remained silent and did not speak. He really didn't know what he was going to do next. He started doing fresh home delivery after returning to China. In the past 3 years, all his energy and attention were focused on fresh home delivery without any distractions. After daily fresh, he thought he would have no opponents in a short period of time, but he didn't expect that the real opponent turned out to be himself. It was his step-by-step that forced him to break up with Zai Xiansong. Now, he has completely broken up with Zai Xiansu. He feels like a string that broke with a bang. He is a little confused and at a loss. Not only has the entire rhythm of life been disrupted, but he is also a little confused. My brain suddenly couldn't find its direction. Zhang Xiangbei sighed secretly. The next day, Zhang Xiangbei slept until noon before getting up. Grandma saw him coming from next door carrying a backpack and asked, Bai Bei, are you going out? Zhang Xiangbei nodded, and Grandma asked him to eat quickly without asking any questions. Both Grandma and Grandma thought that he must have gone to Xiongnan, but in fact, even Xiongnan didn't know. Over the next month or so, Zhang Xiangbei, where did Xiangbei go? It just felt like he was always on the road. Almost every night when the two of them were video chatting, Zhang Xiangbei would change to a new place. Xiongnan is not surprised or worried. The two of them have long been accustomed to such separation. In the past, Xiongnan would go on tour for a month or two. The same goes for Zhang Xiangbei. Whether he goes to Chongqing or Gansu, Yunnan and Hunan has been there for a few months at a time, and both of them have acquiesced in their life of spending less time together and more separation. Fortunately, during the video every day, Xiongnan saw that Zhang Xiangbei was in good condition. The more he walked on the road, the more lively his eyes became. They were no longer the dull dead fish eyes. A person's smile can, it's okay to lie and cry, but his eyes can't deceive people. Xiang Nan was relieved. She knew that Zhang Xiangbei was using his travels to exile himself and heal himself. After Xiongnan won the second Plum Blossom, their troops' performances also spread further and further. Originally they were mainly in the province, but now their Yongchengwu troops' performance track has spread to all parts of the country, especially in their new theater. After the play was featured on CCTV, more and more cities invited them to perform. Many citizens in these cities don't even know the character Wu in Wu opera, but that doesn't stop them from knowing Xiang Nanhe and Yin Tao, both of whom have many fans across the country. These young fans, their habits of watching movies or dramas are different from previous audiences. As long as they like a certain star, they will watch them again and again. For them, as long as they can see their favorite idol, just being on stage is enough. They don't really care about the content of the show. Many people don't even know the basic plot after watching it many times. That night, Xiang Nan and the others were performing in Wuhu, Anhui province. When Xiang Nan walked from the stage to the backstage, he saw Yin Tao winking at her and smiling at her, saying, "Today's supper is ready." Xiang Nan looked at her and wondered what crazy talk she was talking about. Xiang Nan asked, "What stimulated you?" "I'm not irritated, I'm afraid you will be," Yin Tao said with a smile. "Go outside and see for yourself." Xiang Nan opened the door and was startled to see Zhang Xiangbei and Ding Yusong standing in the corridor outside smoking. "Why are you here?" Xiongnan asked Zhang Xiangbei. Zhang Xiangbei chuckled, "Didn't you tell me that you performed here?" No, weren't you still in Jinan last night?" Xiang Nan asked. "Yes, we were in Jinan yesterday and we are here today. Now is the era of high-speed rail." "Is it strange?" Zhang Xiangbei asked. "Okay, welcome to the labor force that I brought to your door. I'll help you dismantle the platform and load the truck later." Xiang Nan turned to Ding Yusong and said, "I'll leave it to you." Ding Yusong asked, "No need to pay for damage." "No, you can use your hands and feet to abuse me," Xiang Nan said. "Did you hear that, Zhang Xiangbei?" Ding Yusong said, "Be honest, or I won't let you find Bei." Zhang Xiangbei flew over with his kick, and Ding Yusong was already prepared. Before his kick could reach him, he had already escaped. "Where are you going tomorrow?" Zhang Xiangbei asked Xiongnan. "Hefei," Xiang Nan said. "Thank you, Brokeback Mountain, for the reward of 2 fishes. Thank you for your monthly votes from Huhu, no future, only remember the original intention, Dragon, Yunlong Frogfish, Zhao 1017, Wind and Wing, Sand Dust Mood, Book Friends 202007312053033948. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 2198. Zhang Xiangbei has been out for more than a month, and the elderly at home are not worried at all. They always thought that Zhang Xiangbei was with Xiongnan. Zhang Chen, Xiaofang, Lu Ligan, and Tan Shuhen were very worried because they knew that Zhang Xiangbei was not with Xiang Nan. Where he had gone, even Xiang Nan couldn't tell clearly. They only knew that he kept changing cities with no pattern. There was no plan at all. Zhang Chen and Xiaofang were very worried that the sale of Zai Xiansen would have a huge impact on Zhang Xiangbei. They knew that Zhang Xiangbei was not exactly as outgoing as he showed, and he hid some things very deeply. It's a bit elusive. What worried them the most was that Zhang Xiangbei should not give up on himself and become decadent because of this. Xiaofang wanted to have a good chat with Zhang Xiangbei, but she couldn't catch him at all. When she called him or WeChat, he always said in a hurry. After a few words, he found an excuse and hung up. In turn, it was Xiang Nan who comforted them and said it was okay. He would video chat with me every day, which was good. They had dinner together, and Tan Shuhen said, "I don't know where Bai Bei is today." Zhang Chen's mother smiled and said, "Where else will he be? It must be wherever Xiang Nan is, he will be there." Tan Shuhen looked at Zhang Chen and Xiaofang. No one said anything, and it was hard to tell Zhang Chen's mother and others that Zhang Xiangbei was not with Xiangnan. Otherwise, these old people would be very anxious. North. Zhang Xiangzi shouted, and several people turned to look, and sure enough they saw Zhang Xiangbei suddenly walking in from the door just like he had left suddenly more than a month ago. Zhang Xiangbei threw his backpack on the sofa and said with a smile, "What a coincidence, I happen to be hungry." Grandma and Grandma hurried to get him tableware. Zhang Xiangzi knocked on the edge of the table and shouted, "Here, here, Bai Bei, sit here." Zhang Xiangbei said yes, walked over to Zhang Xiangzi and sat down next to him. Lu Ligan poured wine for Zhang Xiangbei. "Come on, let's go first." Zhang Xiangbei raised his cup, gestured to Lu Ligan, Zhang Chen, and the two reclamation warriors, took a sip and immediately shouted, "Vajra spike wine." "Awesome, you remember it after drinking it once," Lu Ligan said. Zhang Xiangbei chuckled, "Can't you remember that you got me drunk in one go?" "Why, you haven't finished drinking yet." "No, Gu Gong sent this here again." "Your grandpa likes to drink it," Zhang Chen said with a smile. "This wine brought back memories of your grandpa's youth," Lu Ligan said. "What memories? They are just cheap," Lao Zhang said. "I used to eat wild vegetables and my face turned green. When I saw a piece of meat, everyone grabbed it more fiercely than dogs. As a result, people now eat too much human meat and they are tired of it. Don't eat it anymore, wild vegetables have become precious. The same goes for this wine. I haven't been able to drink it for so many years, but I really fell in love with it once I drank it. The Vajra thorn wine, which used to be the worst wine, is still delicious after drinking it. Isn't it cheap? By the way, Pole, if you drink this wine, put the wine and mutai in front of old Lu and let him choose. He must like to drink this." "I know, this wine is called Sai Moutai," Lu Ligan said. "Looks like I'm going to send a jar to Lao Lu." "That's right, it's Sai Mutai, you should have thought of it a long time ago," Lao Zhang kept nodding. "Bai Bei, aren't you going out during this period?" Xiaofang asked. "I'm not going out." Zhang Xiangbei put down his chopsticks, straightened his waist, looked around at everyone present, and said, "I'm back to discuss something with you." "What's the matter?" "Tell me," Zhang Chen said. We want to get married," Zhang Xiangbei said, blushing. The people at the dinner table were stunned and did not react. Zhang Chen's mother shouted, "Bai Bei, what did you just say?" "Haha, I heard it." "Shame, Bai Bei is getting married to Nanan." Before Zhang Xiangbei could answer, Zhang Xiangzi shouted. "Really?" Zhang Chen's mother asked. Zhang Xiangbei nodded, and everyone woke up and started laughing. Zhang Chen's mother scolded Zhang Xiangzi, "Why are you ashamed? Are you unhappy that they are getting married?" "Not happy." Zhang Xiangzi shook his head. "Why?" Tan Shuhen asked. "When they get married, I will have a little brother. If the little brother wants to ride on Bai Bei's shoulders, I won't be able to ride on him, Zhang Xiangzi said, and everyone at the table laughed. Grandma said, if they have a child, it won't be a little brother. That's my little sister, Zhang Xiangzi asked. Everyone's stomachs almost ached from laughing, and Grandma said, you are his aunt, and he is your nephew, you idiot. Tan Shahen asked Zhang Xiangzi, when they have children, Zixi, you are already in elementary school, and the elementary school students are still riding on Bai Bei's shoulders. Zhang Xiangzi scratched her head. She was a bit stumped by so many new questions at once. Zhang Chen thought of a key question and asked Zhang Xiangbei, have you discussed it with Xiangnan? Zhang Xiangbei said yes, we discussed it. Xiao Fang was surprised and asked, when did you discuss it? Last night. Did you see Nanan yesterday? Yes, in Wuhu, they are going to perform in Hefei today. I will come back and tell you that they still need to make preparations, Zhang Xiangbei said. Everyone at the table became happy. They had been struggling with how to urge these two people to get married. Unexpectedly, Zhang Xiangbei came back suddenly today and suddenly proposed to get married. Lu Ligan shouted, wait, happiness comes too suddenly, I have to straighten it out, one by one. Bai Bei, when are you going to get married? July, Zhang Xiangbei said, wouldn't the troupe have a month off in July? We want to get married at that time. Normally, Xiangnan can't leave her. Getting married in July, in the middle of summer? It's rare, Lu Ligan said. Whatever, as long as they want, they can get married in the middle of the night, Zhang Chen scolded. Okay, what I said is just a tidbit, you can ignore it, Lu Ligan said. Then in July, the first item is passed, and the second item, where is the wedding room? Zhang Chen said, the house in Splendid Garden can be given to you. We will live here without moving. Although the house has not been handed over yet, the interior is already being renovated and should be completed in July, right? Tan Shahen. Okay, Tan Shahen said. After the demolition of Splendid Garden, it was Tan Shahen and her Splendid China who acquired the land. The rebuilt project is still called Splendid Garden. Now the project has come to an end. Zhang Chen is the demolished household. In addition to the relocation house, he bought the entire top floor with 4 units on the first floor, and the 2 units on the side are lofts, which actually equals 1.5 floors, totaling more than 1,000 square meters. Because the house was developed by Tan Shahen and the others, Zhang Chen's decoration of the house was carried out simultaneously with the construction, so as to avoid having to worry about it after it was completed. I don't want such a big house. It would be exhausting for both of us to clean it, Zhang Xiangbei said. I saw it at Xiaohu's place, which has more than 700 square meters. He told me that there are many rooms. I don't go in there even once a month, it's just a waste. Of course we hire a nanny, but you also have to clean it yourself, Zhang Chen said. No, I'm not that stupid, Zhang Xiangbei said. Hire a nanny to be at home 24 hours a day, which is more time than we spend at home. Isn't that house equivalent to buying it for her? Everyone laughed, and Zhang Chen's mother said, Bai Bei is right. I have hands and feet, so why should I hire a nanny? I'm not the landlord. Xiao Fang's mother kept nodding beside her. For them, what kind of work at home can't be done by themselves, and why do they need to hire a nanny to do it? I'll give you the villa in Peach Blossom Spring, or you can choose any house, and I'll buy it for you, Zhang Chen said. Hey, can you please respect the developer? Tan Shahen shouted. I am a developer sitting here, and you think I am nothing when you talk about houses? Bai Bei, which one of our company's projects do you like? Go pick it out tomorrow, and whichever set you choose will be yours. I don't want you to buy it. Zhang Xiangbei didn't barge in on me, Zhang Chen scolded. What do you mean, Zhang Chen, you are a stubborn old feudal. If you give me a house, you are stepping in. Today's children have to live on their own. They are not willing to interfere in anyone's house. Save it, Lu Ligan said. Xiaofang kept laughing on the side and said, noisy, you should argue for a while first. Zhang Xiangbei said quickly, thank you, we will solve the house problem ourselves. Did you see it? It's no use worrying, Xiaofang said with a gloating smile. Zhang Xiangbei also smiled and said, actually, we have already found a deal online and have contacted the agency. Where? Tan Shahen asked. Vientiane City. Second-hand house. Yes, it's well decorated, but no one has ever lived there, Zhang Xiangbei said. Tan Shahen frowned. She looked at Lu Ligan, who said, it's so embarrassing. What's wrong? Zhang Xiangbei asked. Lu Ligan said, Xiang Nan is the daughter of the two bosses of Splendid China. The quality of the houses in Jingxiu is in Hangzhou. We say second, but no one dares to say first. You just buy it yourself, not Jingxiu. If you buy a house from another developer, if other people don't laugh, your peers will laugh out loud. Bei, tell me, do you want your Aunt Shahan to be able to hold her head high in front of her peers in the future? Zhang Chen and Xiaofang laughed. Zhang Xiangbei scratched his head and chuckled, neither of us have thought about this. Then don't think about it. You don't think well about the house and you don't understand it. You don't know which house is good and which house is bad. I will arrange it according to your wishes. The location is the old urban area and Qianzhong New Town. The area doesn't need to be too big, about 200 square meters, is that okay? Tan Shahen said. Zhang Xiangbei said, yes, but... No, I know. You said it last time. You don't want us adults to help you. You want to buy it yourself. In this way, after the house is decorated for you, it will be handed over to you and you will pay for it yourself. Is that okay? Tan Shahen asked. Zhang Xiangbei smiled and said, that's okay. Zhang Xiangbei looked at Zhang Chen and said, Dad, Aunt Shahen, I have one more thing I need your help with. What's the matter? Tell me, Tan Shahen said. I want you to sell me the shares in Yongcheng Center, Zhang Xiangbei said. You want to give it to Xiang Nan, right? Xiaofang understood Zhang Xiangbei's intention and asked. Zhang Xiangbei nodded. What to sell? Zhang Chen shouted, just change it to Xiang Nan. Xiaofang hit him, and Zhang Chen quickly shut up. He didn't even want the house, but he wanted your shares? Tan Shahen also shook her head at Zhang Chen. She said yes, Bei, we will sell you the shares of Yongcheng Center. From now on, Nanan will be the real owner of Yongcheng Center. Thank you, Aunt Shahen, Zhang Xiangbei said, thank you, Dad too. Thank you, Dong Longdong and LW Norvi for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening, everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 2199. Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan decided to hold their wedding in July, so they didn't need to worry about the rest. Although Zhang Xiangbei said he would come back to make preparations, in fact, he had nothing to do with it. Of course the wedding will be held at the Tuxianjiayuan Hotel, and Tan Shahen will decide on the house. In fact, it was decided on the next day. The new house is Splendid Qianzhong, a project developed by their Splendid China in Qianzhong New Town. It costs 200 yuan. 38 square sides. The house is located in the block between Hangzhou City Central Courtyard and Hangzhou City Balcony. It has a river view and 3 balconies, 2 of which face the Qiantang River and 1 of which faces the city balcony. It can be said to be the best in Qianzhong New Town. Block. This house was left by the developer to keep the price down. The opening price in 2015 was more than 38,000 square meters per square meter, and it was sold out. Now the second-hand house has been sold for about 110,000 yuan per square meter. Zhang Xiangbei only needs to buy at the opening price. The house will be designed by Zhang Chen, and the construction team under Tan Shehen will complete the decoration in June, 1 month before the wedding. Don't worry, the best and most environmentally friendly materials will be used. After the decoration is completed, no need to it has been left vacant for half a year and the smell has dissipated, and it can be occupied directly. Now is the best season for decoration. In July, it will be very troublesome, because when the rainy season comes, the putty on the wall will not dry for 10 days and a half. You need to use a small sun and a hair dryer to dry it, but in that case, for one thing, the walls can easily dry out and peel. Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan had no special requirements in terms of decoration and furniture selection. Zhang Chen asked Zhang Xiangbei, and Zhang Xiangbei thought for a long time before saying that as long as the internet speed was fast, it would be fine. Zhang Chen rolled his eyes at him. Since there are no special requirements, Zhang Chen will take care of everything. Anyway, Zhang Chen's design is very impressive as soon as it is launched. Xiang Nan also likes it very much. Xiaoshu is by the side to help a little more. The wedding photo in the room was not taken, but an oil painting painted by Xiaoshu. Zhang Xiangbei bent over, looking forward, and Xiangnan lay on his shoulder, smiling. Zhang Xiangzi was overjoyed when she saw this painting. She said, "My teeth almost fell out from laughing. Let me tell you, Nanan is preparing to climb on Bai Bei's shoulders. If this painting alone was given to an auction company, the starting price would be over 10 million yuan. Xiaoshu would also take care of other furniture and other items." Xiaoshu said that Bai Bei could do whatever he wanted, since he was just a seller. Nan Nan is not a food person, but he is also an artist. The furniture in an artist's home must of course be tasteful. In the next few months, furniture was sent from Europe, South America, and even Africa. Many of them were old furniture. The shipping cost almost caught up with the cost of buying the furniture. Among this large amount of furniture, there was no American furniture. Xiaoshu said, "Americans are not good at it. Their products are all fast food style and can be easily imitated and eliminated." Zhang Chen was very excited when he saw the furniture Xiaoshu bought and thought it was good. However, Zhang Xiangbei felt disapproving of it. What a taste! These things are not convenient to use at all. There is no practicality compared to the current modular furniture. He understood that Xiaoshu and his father were treating their new house as a large-scale installation art. Zhang Xiangbei called and told Xiangnan. Xiangnan laughed. She said it was great. Zhang Xiangbei asked Uncle Xiaoshu and Uncle Xiaoshu to do it. "Don't worry about it. The room they decorated must be very unique. His aesthetic vision is similar to that of an old farmer." "Yep, old farmers are just old farmers," Zhang Xiangbei sneered, "and I didn't bother to care." After the house decoration project started, Lu Ligan turned into a project supervisor and ran to the construction site every day. The project manager trembled when he saw him coming. Lu Ligan looks playful and easy to talk to, but when he gets serious, it's hard to fool him. The reputation of splendid China houses was built under Lu Ligan's eyes. This was also the reason why Tan Shehen and others always led the local housing prices when they moved to third and fourth tier cities. In the years after Splendid China left Hangzhou, home buyers in Hangzhou felt that something was missing. The houses on the market were all developed by Yankee. No matter how you looked at them, they seemed to be of low quality, unlike Splendid China. The houses in the development cannot be compared. When Splendid China returned to Hangzhou, it could be said that everyone was eagerly anticipating it. The first project launched was 4,000 to 5,000 per square meter more expensive than adjacent projects in the same location, and demand still exceeded supply. As soon as their project was launched in any area, the prices of surrounding second-hand houses quickly increased. Splendid China is back, and everyone knows that housing prices in Hangzhou will definitely rise. In whichever small city splendid China lands, people who know will say, it's over, housing prices here are going to take off. The houses in splendid China are expensive, but some people are buying them. This is the word of mouth effect brought about by the quality of their houses. There is nothing we can do about it. Whether he was building a house or a B/U0026B, Lu Ligan said that he had always been a contractor for others throughout his life. How could he not care about his daughter's wedding room now? Zhang Xiangbei can't get involved in anything. After setting the wedding date, Zhang Xiangbei is too embarrassed to go on tour with Xiangnan and the others. It turns out that he is just his boyfriend. It's easy to say that Ding Yusong and Yin Tao are also his good friends. He went to play with them without any worries. But after the character changed from boyfriend to quasi-husband, things changed subtly. When he went to the troupe, he would be his family. No other family members came. You were the only one who brought his family with him during the performance. Even Xiang Nan felt that not too good. Moreover, Zhang Xiangbei could imagine how those guys in the troupe would make fun of him when they saw him again. They would definitely say, Zhang Xiangbei, are you worried about your wife because you are staring at her so closely? Therefore, Zhang Xiangbei stopped looking for Xiangnan and followed them from city to city. Bored, Zhang Xiangbei did not stay at home. He still went to the pillow tea house every day, but instead of going to the private room, he took his laptop to the lobby outside and found a seat by the window. Looking at the computer screen in front of him, or the Meisi River outside, and listening to the gossip of other tea drinkers from behind and around, he felt that he still had some connection with the world. If you go to the private room, it's almost like being locked up in your own room. Zhang Xiangbei went to high school and college in the United States. Except for Sun Xiangyang, he has almost no contact with his classmates in junior high school. Isn't that the case with all classmates? It's also a progression. After junior high school, his classmates in elementary school fell behind. After going to high school, the students in junior high school were ranked second. After going to university, the students in high school were ranked second. Only when you finish college outside and return to your hometown, your high school classmates will be slowly picked up again. You can't pick up your classmates in junior high school, unless there is a guy in junior high school who makes a fool of himself and wants the whole world to know. He is also very willing to organize things, so he would go to a junior high school reunion and bring together monsters whose appearance has been deformed and are very different from those in his memory. Zhang Xiangbei and Sun Xiangyang are both decent, but they are not exaggerated people who like Zhang Luo. After returning from the United States, Zhang Xiangbei started to engage in fresh food delivery. He had no experience as a social activist, so he had few friends and classmates in Hangzhou. His classmates were all on the computer and among Facebook friends. He was in Hangzhou, and some of them were colleagues at work. These colleagues were now the ones who paid for their money, and Zhang Xiangbei deliberately did not contact them. Not to mention, it would be very embarrassing to drive over to Zaixiangxian and look at them. Only Gu Gong, Sun Xiangyang, and Zhou Ruyi knew that Zhang Xiangbei lay down in the pillow water tea house every day when they came to the city to do business or take a break. They would come and sit with Zhang Xiangbei. Sun Xiangyang and Zhou Ruyi, and even more most people would call Zhang Xiangbei in the evening to play or have a midnight snack together. After sitting impatiently in the tea house, Zhang Xiangbei would go to the Riverside Oil Painting Gallery, not to see the art exhibition, but to see the small trees and watch them paint. When painting, the small trees like to hold it in one hand. With a can of beer and a paintbrush in one hand, Zhang Xiangbei went over to drink beer and chat with him. Further away, he would go to Fanhua Network to watch Wenwen and Kinkin's live broadcast. However, Wenwen was a bit unbearable. Every time Zhang Xiangbei went there, she would hold him back. Let him go, call him a veteran coder, and ask the veteran coder to sit in her live broadcast room, help her live broadcast, chat with her fans, and help sell goods. For other things, it's okay to say that when it comes to women's products, it's embarrassing to ask Zhang Xiangbei to help sell them. This kind of life makes Zhang Xiangbei feel that he is aging before he is old, and he really looks like a retired veteran cotter, looking here and there, wandering here and there. All he has to do is carry his hands behind his back, or hold a thermos cup in his hands. What Zhang Xiangbei has to do on time every day is to pick up and drop off Zhang Xiangzi. Even Zhao's Haiqiang is now very familiar with him. When he sees him from afar, he will call him Brother Baibei. After living like this for more than a month, Zhang Xiangbei couldn't stand it anymore. He was originally an active person who liked to do things, but after selling Zaixiangsong, he went to plant vegetables with 2 land reclamation warriors. I don't like to go there either. When I see the vegetable patch, my imagination will wander, so I might as well not look at it. Zhang Xiangbei still had to set off, but this time, instead of taking a plane or a high-speed train, he drove his jeep. He decided to drive wherever he wanted. As long as he calculated the distance and time, Xiangnan and the others made the right calculation this time. After the tour is over, there will be a week's vacation. It's still the same as before. Xiangnan will let Ding Yusong lead the group back to Yongcheng, and she will go to Hangzhou by herself. As long as Zhang Xiangbei calculates the right time, he can return to Hangzhou. At other times, he will drive his jeep to wander around. Zhang Xiangbei and Xiao Wu drove there on the way to the north, to Jiangsu, Shandong, and Hebei. They also drove there on the way to the south, to Jiangxi, Hunan, Guangdong, and Yunnan. This time, Zhang Xiangbei decided to I drove west alone and visited Anhui and Hubei. Thank you to Brokeback Mountain, Dal Tin Soldier, and the reward of 2 fishes at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you for the chair in the world, Evergreen Emperor Yan, Fat Brother, Why Can't I Change My Name, Book Friends 535-103, Crush Killer VIP, Zonkai 727, Leisurely View, Dong Long Dong, On the Road, Everyday Monthly Pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 2200. At the end of May, Xiangnan ended his 3-month tour and was about to return to Hangzhou. Zhang Xiangbei calculated the time and ended his wandering 1 day earlier than Xiangnan and returned to Hangzhou. Xiangnan was coming back from Ma'anshan, and Zhang Xiangbei went to pick her up at the East Railway Station. After picking her up, Zhang Xiangbei asked Xiangnan where he was going, and Xiangnan said, "Go and see our house." Zhang Xiangbei said, "Yes, I will call Uncle Zanzi and ask him to send me the location." "What?" Xiangnan shouted, "You don't even know where the house is." Zhang Xiangbei chuckled, "I've never been there." Zhang Xiangbei, you. Xiangnan was so angry that he couldn't speak. Zhang Xiangbei said, "You don't have to worry about me at all. You know, your mother ordered the house, okay? My father did the decoration design, and I've sent you the renderings. If you agree, I'll look at everything. If you don't come out, Uncle Xiaoshu arranged the furniture and decoration, and Uncle Jean is there to watch every day. I can't see anything even if I go there, so why should I go?" Zhang Xiangbei spoke so plausibly that Xiangnan was so angry that he almost picked up his ears, and said to Xiangnan, "You are too comfortable being a hands-off shopkeeper." Zhang Xiangbei laughed loudly, "My fate is good, I have no choice but to accept it." Xiangnan glared at him. Lu Ligan immediately sent the location, and Zhang Xiangbei drove there. The building where Zhang Xiangbei and his new house is located is 33 stories high. Their new house is on the 21st floor, which is the best floor. The splendid China real estate has nothing to say about the community and has always been a benchmark in the industry. Property management is Fairview Service and one of the best property companies. The two people took the elevator upstairs. As soon as they walked out of the elevator door, they heard Lou Ligon training people. They seemed to be two people like the Lou Ligon they usually saw. They spoke sternly and unquestionably. The project manager kept talking. "Okay, Mr. Liu, I will change it immediately. I deserve to die. I deserve to die." The door of the room was open, and two people walked in. Lou Lizan had his back to them and did not see them coming in. He was still lecturing them. He was talking about the tiles in the bathroom. One of the diagonal corners was not done well and he asked them to rework it. When the project manager saw Xiang Nan and Zhang Xiangbei walking in, he felt like seeing a savior and said quickly, "Mr. Liu, your daughter is here." Lou Ligon turned around and saw them. His sullen face immediately relaxed. He pointed at the project manager and cursed. "You're lucky." The project manager chuckled, "Yes, Mr. Liu, if you can't fix it, I'll give it to you." Lou Ligon scolded, "Why do I need your dog's head? You might as well buy a pig's head as a gift to me." "Okay, give me the pig's head, give me the pig's head," he said and ran away. Lou Ligon, Zhang Xiangbei, and Xiangnan said, "These guys are so rough in their work under my eyes. If I were not here, I don't know what they would do." Alas, there is no way. It is like this in any company. As time goes by, the people below will become oily. Zhang Xiangbei looked at what Lou Ligon said he wanted to change, but didn't see anything bad. Zhang Xiangbei said, "Uncle Pole, forget it. I didn't even notice it. It shouldn't be anything." Xiang Nan looked at him and scolded softly, "Aren't you the boss of the store? Are you talking nonsense now? Don't let the people who work hear it." Lou Ligon said, "Nanan is right. I'll give them an inch here. If they go out, they will cause trouble for you. You can't do it without strict requirements. You have to pick vegetables when you go to the market, let alone buy a house. It's reasonable to be picky no matter how you choose. Besides, someone may spend their life savings to buy you a house. If you just fool them, is that okay? Your conscience won't bother you." Zhang Xiangbei said quickly, "I understand, Uncle Zanzi, call me nonsense." Lou Ligon laughed, "You are not a person who talks nonsense, otherwise there would be no reason not to sell the next day's food. The principle is the same. The decoration here is coming to an end." Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan walked around the house. They both fell in love with it. Xiangnan quietly asked Zhang Xiangbei if he regretted not coming before. Zhang Xiangbei said, "I just want to wait for you to come back and watch it together." "Go," Xiang Nan cursed, and then burst into laughter, "Do you even know how to talk nonsense?" Zhang Xiangbei laughed. After the two people finished reading and were about to leave, Lou Ligon said that he would stay for a while. When they reached the door, Lou Ligon stopped them and asked, "Nanan, you just came back. Have you looked at the furniture?" Xiangnan asked Zhang Xiangbei, "Have you gone to see it?" Zhang Xiangbei shrank his head and said, "Uncle Xiaoshu sent me pictures, but I haven't seen the real thing yet." "You're amazing." Xiang Nan kept nodding and asked, "Are you going to wait until I come back to see you together again?" Zhang Xiangbei laughed and said yes. He turned to Lou Ligon and asked, "Uncle Zanzi, where is the furniture? Let's go, I'll go with you. It will be stored in the logistics warehouse of Jibao. It can be moved here only when it is ready," Lou Ligon said. The three of them went downstairs together, and the two cars drove to the half-acre field logistics space in Jibao. The car parked at the entrance of the warehouse 2 buildings away from Zaixian delivery. Zhang Xiangbei got out of the car. Looking towards the Zaixian delivery side, cold chain trucks were coming and going. It was obvious that it was very busy. Zhang Xiangbei could imagine the current scene in the workshop. I can also imagine what the customer service staff in the lobby upstairs are doing, and even know what Wu Huan, Li Wei, Wu Yu, Malin, Sun Xiang Yang, and Zhou Ruyi are doing in the office. They were still busy, but it had nothing to do with him. Zhang Xiangbei looked over there, feeling confused. Lu Ligan and Xiang Nan also got out of the car. They saw Zhang Xiangbei staring blankly at the Zaixian delivery side. They seemed to know what he was thinking and did not rush him. Lu Ligan turned around and walked into the warehouse first. When Xiangnan arrived here, she originally wanted to call Zhou Ruyi and ask her to come over and look at the furniture together. She stared at Zhang Xiangbei, sighed, put the phone back in her bag, and did not call. After the sale of Zaixian Su, this place remained as usual. It was originally the place where Zaixian Shui rented from Half Mu Tian, and it continued to rent, including Zaixian Su and Half Mu Tian. The cooperation, and the cooperation between food and drink men and women, also continues. Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan walked into the warehouse. This warehouse was for half-acre field's own use. In the corner of the warehouse, the pile of furniture was covered with blue and white strips of woven cloth. The warehouse manager led them over and put the woven fabrics in the warehouse. After taking off the cloth, they saw the furniture inside. One was old, one was sturdy, and the other was a bit weird in style. Even Xiang Nan didn't see why. Lu Ligan seemed to know how they felt and said to them, "You can't see anything like this. The furniture has to be placed in the house before you can see its smell. We can't imagine it. This requires space and imagination. Xiaoshu and your dad they can see for a piece of furniture, what you see is not the furniture itself, but the way the furniture is placed in the room, with soft upholstery." "Okay, I believe you," Zhang Xiangbei said to Lu Ligan in his heart. The three of them walked outside. Lu Ligan asked Zhang Xiangbei, "Your dad seems to be at eating men and women. Do you want to go over and have a look?" Zhang Xiangbei shook his head. "Where's Gu Gong? Do you want to go and sit down?" Zhang Xiangbei said, "Forget it. Gu Gong and his food factory now belong to Dobayo.com. If they go to other people's factories, they will be disturbed." "Okay, then let's go home," Lu Ligan said. He said he was going home, but halfway through the drive, Lu Ligan's car disappeared. When Zhang Xiangbei and the others drove to the underground parking lot of Mishai, they were the only car left. The two got out of the car and went home, sneaking into the house quickly, for fear of being seen by the grandma and grandma next door. The two of them went upstairs and returned to their room. After a long separation, the first thing they did was of course hug each other and rush around. Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan sat up on the bed, leaning against the head of the bed and talking. Xiangnan said, "There is one thing, I can't figure out what to do." "What's going on?" Zhang Xiangbei asked. Aunt Hungmei. Xiang Nan said, "Didn't I tell you that I met Aunt Hungmei when I was in Japan? She told me that she would definitely come when we got married. I also promised her that we would get married. I'll tell her. What do you think we should do?" When Zhang Xiangbei heard about this, he also felt a little difficult to handle. Hungmei had been very good with them since childhood. After Xiao Zhao passed away, not only the elderly in the family, but also Xiangnan and Zhang Xiangbei thought that Hungmei would. Zhang Xiangbei also liked becoming Zhang Xiangbei's new mother. But later on, no one could explain why Hungmei didn't get together with Zhang Chen and go to Japan. When Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan get married, of course they should invite Hungmei, but the problem is that now Zhang Chen is married, and the bride is not Hungmei, but Xiao Fang. It would be a bit embarrassing if they meet again. "Ignore him, I'll go talk to my dad and see what he will say," Zhang Xiangbei said to Xiangnan with a heartbroken heart. Xiang Nan scolded, "Idiot, what's the use of talking to uncle? Of course uncle won't mind. The one who will mind should be Aunt Xiao Fang. You have to tell Aunt Xiao Fang about this. As long as Aunt Xiao Fang welcomes her, Uncle will definitely have no problem. Zhang Xiangbei thought about it and realized that what Xiang Nan said made sense. He said to Xiang Nan, "Forget it, it's not okay for you to say this, so I'll see if I have time tonight. By the way, after dinner, you can find a way to hold your dad back while I go and tell Aunt Xiaofang, let her decide." Zhang Xiangbei said yes. Xiangnan kicked Zhang Xiangbei hard and shouted, "Hurry up, get up, get up." She had gotten out of bed herself. "What?" Zhang Xiangbei asked. "Someone is back," Xiang Nan said. When Zhang Xiangbei heard this, he quickly got out of bed, and sure enough he heard movement downstairs. Zhang Xiangbei was still getting dressed when his grandma's voice came from downstairs, "Nan Nan, Nan Nan." Xiang Nan had already dressed, quickly opened the door and walked out, calling, "Grandma, I'm here, I just came back." "Okay, you rest. I'm going to pick up Zixi. I'll come over and tell you to eat at home tonight and don't go out to eat," Zhang Chen's mother said. "I know, Grandma," Xiang Nan said. Xiangnan walked back, closed the door, leaned against the back of the door and looked at Zhang Xiangbei, her face flushed. Zhang Xiangbei also looked at her. The two couldn't hold back and laughed together. "Thank you to Chen Menjin, who is ranked third from top to bottom, and who reads the book every day, for your reward. Thank you Guandian Electromechanical, Hu, and Kingbo for your monthly tickets. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 2201. When it was time for dinner, Zhang Xiangbei didn't need to intentionally drag Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen drank with Lu Ligan, Zhang Xiangbei and the two land reclamation warriors, and naturally procrastinated. Xiangnan, Xiaofang, and Tan Shuhen they had finished their meal, and they were still drinking to their heart's content. Several people went to sit on the sofa, and Xiang Nan said to Xiaofang, "Aunt Xiaofang, I have something to tell you." "Okay, tell me," Xiaofang said. Xiang Nan hesitated and hesitated to speak. Xiaofang understood. She looked at Tan Shuhen. Tan Shuhen smiled and Xiaofang said, "Okay, let's go out for a walk." Xiang Nan quickly said yes. The two people walked outside. Zhang Xiangzi also wanted to follow, but Tan Shuhen hugged him. Tan Shuhen said, "Can Auntie take you to the supermarket?" Zhang Xiangzi said yes, and Tan Shuhen stood up and asked, "Over there, we are going to the supermarket, is there anything we need to buy?" Several people drinking wine raised their hands and waved at almost the same time. Tan Shuhen walked into the kitchen. Zhang Chen's mother and Xiaofang's mother were in the kitchen, still adding food to them. Tan Shuhen asked them if they needed anything. Zhang Chen's mother said, "Don't worry about us. We go to the supermarket several times a day if we have nothing to do." Tan Shuhen laughed and let Zhang Xiangzi out. Xiaofang and Xiangnan walked to the Meisi River. In the evening, there were many people on the Meisi River. They all lived nearby and went for a walk after dinner. The two of them finally found a chair to sit down. Xiaofang smiled and said, "Nanan, what's the matter? Can you talk about it now?" This conversation has been brewing for a long time in Xiangnan's mind, and she has made countless beginnings in her heart. At this time, she finally had the opportunity to start what she thought was the most appropriate beginning. "And Xiaofang, do you still remember that I went to Japan to perform?" "Of course I remember, what's wrong? Guess who I saw in Japan?" Xiaofang understood. She turned around, looked at Xiangnan with a smile, and asked, "I've met your Aunt Hongmei, right?" Xiangnan was startled and shouted, "How do you know?" Xiaofang giggled, "You want to talk to me so carefully, and you start with such a cautious way. This person must be extraordinary. In Japan, you and I both know him, and he is an extraordinary person. Apart from he Hongmei, who could it be?" Xiangnan laughed, "And Xiaofang, You are so smart, I can't hide anything from you. Smart, right? Xiaofang continued to smile. I also know what you are going to say to me next. Really? Xiangnan tilted his head. Then tell me, what do I want to say? Xiaofang smiled and said, you and Bai Bei are getting married, and you want to invite your aunt Hongmei to attend your wedding, but you are worried that it will be embarrassing if we meet, so you just want to listen to my opinion, right? Xiangnan blushed and said, you have guessed it all, Aunt Xiaofang. I have guessed what happened to you, but there is one thing I have here that you must not have guessed, Xiaofang said. What's going on? Xiangnan asked. I have told Hongmei that you and Bai Bei are getting married. I invited her to attend and she agreed, Xiaofang said. Hongmei has not returned to China for a long time. Her passport and visa have expired. She has submitted. I have applied for a visa and it will probably come out in the next few days. Xiaofang's words surprised Xiangnan. She murmured, and Xiaofang, it turns out you still have contact. Of course, we have always been in contact. When I passed by Japan several times, we would have dinner together, Xiaofang said. She is not only your Aunt Hongmei, but also my friend. She is closer than a friend. I have always regarded her as look at my sister. I clearly remember that when my sister passed away, the whole family was in chaos, but she and your mother were the ones who helped support me, and I am very grateful to her. Xiangnan nodded. Of course she still remembered all these, she said. The Aunt Hongmei I remember is also like this. I also remember that you and Aunt Hongmei have always had a very good relationship, but I just think that if Zixie's father and I are together, our relationship will change, right? Xiaofang asked. Xiangnan murmured, I thought it would be like this. Whether two people can be together or not is fate. Neither of them has done anything wrong. I can only say that when the road comes to an end, they will naturally separate, Xiaofang said. On the contrary, Zixie's father and I are two different people. As a result, as we walked, the two roads overlapped, and naturally we were together. We are all adults and have the ability to deal with our own emotional problems. Coming together with Zixie's father will not affect the relationship between me and Hongmei. It is true that Hongmei has liked Zixie's father, but Zixie's father is still her. She also hopes that Master can be happy. When Zixie's father and I decided to get together, I told her and she also blessed us. She said that the two of us are more suitable together than her and Zixie's father. Nanan, do you know? Xiaofang laughed as she spoke, and asked Xiangnan, what do you know, and Xiaofang? Xiaofang said, don't talk about your wedding with Bai Bei. Zixie's father and I did not hold a wedding at that time. If we held a wedding, Hongmei would come back and come to the scene to congratulate us. Xiangnan breathed a long sigh of relief. So that's it? That's it? Everything is normal. Sometimes people have complicated thoughts. Xiangnan smiled and nodded. Zhang Xiangbei and I thought it was complicated. We thought. Not entirely. After all, we are different generations. You may not fully understand our thoughts, but you can handle your own affairs well. For example, Xiaohu also likes you very much, but it does not prevent him from being Bei, my good friend Bei. You won't say not to notify Xiaohu when you get married, right? Xiangnan blushed and nodded. And Xiaofang, does Uncle Zhang Chen know that you and Aunt Hongmei have always been in contact? Xiangnan asked. Xiaofang thought for a while and said, I really don't know if he knows. I don't think there is any need to say it. He seems to have never asked. Maybe he knows, maybe he doesn't know. Do you want me to chat with Hongmei on WeChat sometimes? He is right next to him, and if he doesn't mean to look, he will catch a glimpse of him accidentally. Are you right? That's right, Xiangnan said. Do you want to tell your uncle about this? No. Xiaofang looked at Xiangnan and said mischievously, whether it's a surprise or a fright, let's give him a surprise attack, okay. Xiangnan chuckled, okay. The next morning, when Xiangnan and Zhang Xiangbei had just gotten up, Someone was ringing the doorbell. Xiangnan walked over to open the door and saw Zhao Jingjing outside. Xiangnan asked her to come in and sit down. Zhao Jingjing followed him in and said that she wouldn't sit down anymore. I still wanted to sit down. I have to go to Yongcheng for business immediately. Nan Nan, give me your ID card, Zhao Jingjing said. Without thinking, Xiang Nan said, just wait. By the way, is your mother here? Zhao Jingjing asked. Yes, Tan Shehen was sitting at the dining table, replying to a confirmation letter to the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. When she heard the voice, she hurried over. Mr. Tan, I also want your ID card, Zhao Jingjing said. Wait a minute, Tan Shehen nodded, turned to the room, took out her ID card, and handed it to Zhao Jingjing. Zhao Jingjing took out a shareholders meeting resolution and an equity transfer agreement and asked Tan Shehen to sign. After Tan Shehen signed, Xiang Nan came down with her ID card and handed it to Zhao Jingjing, who kept it. Zhao Jingjing told them, I still want to find Mr. Zhang, he is waiting for me. Tan Shehen said yes, thank you for your hard work. Zhao Jingjing walked out. Zhang Chen and Tan Shehen are both shareholders of Yongcheng Center. Zhao Jingjing is the financial director of Half Mutian Group and also the financial director of Yongcheng Center. She often goes to Yongcheng to do business. When she does business, she sometimes comes asking Tan Shehen and Zhang Chen for ID cards, and signing documents for them was normal, and Xiang Nan was used to it. When Zhao Jingjing was there, Xiang Nan didn't think much about it. After she left, he realized why Zhao Jingjing asked for her ID card today. Xiang Nan asked Tan Shehen, why does Aunt Jingjing go to Yongcheng to do something, and she needs the ID cards of so many people? Tan Shehen was stunned for a moment. She looked up at Zhang Xiangbei, who was sitting on the sofa, and asked, Bai Bei, you didn't tell Nanan? Zhang Xiangbei smiled and asked Xiangnan, what are you telling me? Tan Shehen said, Bai Bei has bought my and his father's shares in Yongcheng Center, and he wants to give Yongcheng Center to you. Zhao Jingjing is going to go through the procedures for changing the equity of Yongcheng Center today. Zhang Xiangbei, what do you want to do? Xiangnan shouted sharply when he heard this, startling both Zhang Xiangbei and Tan Shehen. Zhang Xiangbei said, I didn't do anything. I just thought that since you are in charge of Yongcheng Center, I bought all the shares. If the shares were not in the hands of my aunt and my father, they would be in the hands of other people here, I will buy it too. Zhang Xiangbei, what do you mean by doing this? You are rich now, don't you think you are very cool? Do you think I need you to give me a Yongcheng Center? Xiangnan asked. Nanan, please speak up if you have anything to say, and Bai Bei also means well, Tan Shehen shouted. I don't want his kindness, and I don't want him to give me the Yongcheng Center. What will the people in the group think of me, and what will others think of me? I can't afford it. Xiang Nanya became angrier as she walked out the door. I'm going to call Aunt Jingjing right now and tell her not to go. Zhang Xiangbei quickly got up from the sofa and rushed over to hold Xiang Nan. When Lu Ligan heard the movement below, he also came down from upstairs and asked, what's wrong? I'll explain. Zhang Xiangbei pushed Xiangnan back and said to her, don't be impatient for a moment. Sit down first. Xiangnan sat down on the sofa angrily, glared at Zhang Xiangbei and said, explain it, tell me. Tan Shehen and Lu Ligan also came over. No, Bai Bei is obviously at a disadvantage in this formation. It looks like we, a family of 3, are bullying him alone. I'll call Zhang Chen over. As soon as Lu Ligan said this, everyone else couldn't help laughing. Even Xiangnan burst into laughter. Tan Shehen said, we've alerted the other side, but we're outnumbered. With just 2 old ladies and Zixi, we can't bear it. Several people laughed together, and Tan Shehen said, Bai Bei, you must have your own thoughts when you do this. Tell Nanan your thoughts. If there are no secrets, we will also listen. Okay, Zhang Xiangbei said, I do have money now. All this money came from selling Zai Xianshui. When I started doing Zai Xianshui, I didn't have much money. Xiang Nan, you gave me all your money, and I and Fatty Zhou Ruyi collected 5 million. If we really want to settle the score, you are also the original capital. Am I right? Now that Zaixian Shui has been sold, and I have money, shouldn't you be part of this money? How much did you spend to buy a Yongcheng center? Isn't it not excessive at all? Okay, there is some truth to this. I am standing as a middleman, Lu Ligan said. Zhang Xiangbei looked at Xiangnan and then said, with the money I get from selling Zai Xianshui, I definitely have to do things. It can't be like this. I really do nothing all day long like a retired cotter. I just need to do things and start a business. There will be risks. Now we are going to get married, have a family, and then have children. Zhang Xiangbei looked at Lu Ligan and Tan Shahen as he spoke, hesitated for a moment, and then continued. You also said that if my business fails, let me go home. You said you would support me. I thought, if you have a family, the family must have basic security. I will buy it now while I have money. Yongcheng Center, this is the protection of our family. It can ensure that you and your children live a worry-free life. It can ensure that the theater troupe will continue to operate and you will always have performances. Even if I fail to start my own business again, you will still have money to support me when I return home. Tan Shahen and Lu Ligan listened and both laughed. Lu Ligan cursed. You kids, your calculations are very clear, but your calculations are all confusing. Both Xiangnan and Zhang Xiangbei looked at him, and Zhang Xiangbei asked, am I wrong to think this way? Yes, you are right to think about it, but are you two orphans? There are no adults in the family, Lu Ligan scolded. You also said it pitifully, you raise me and I raise you, you should be. We adults are all dead, so will you have no food to eat? Tan Shahen laughed, Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan both blushed. Tan Shahen said, Nanan, don't argue about this matter. You are mature now and have the ability to run Yongcheng Center well. If you didn't have this ability, I would not agree to transfer the shares to you. Thank you Brokeback Mountain for the reward of 2 fishes. Thank you Zonkai 727, Roots and Leaves. Why can't you change your name, Fat Brother, James Chen, and Book Friend 201901102135244688 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health.